Welcome to Wednesday Comics.
Brought to you by rootsoftheswampthing.com and Siouxpercon 2018 Return of the Con.
Hey everyone, keep turning those pages.
Welcome to Wednesday Comics. To my right, we got Wild Dog himself. Alex, how you doing?
Hello everyone.
Hello. To my left, we got Cave Carson. He's got a cybernetic eye. Ooh, Jesus. Garrett?
Can you ask me a question? Yo, what's up?
How are you doing?
I am your Swamp Thing. We were all involved. I'm Marvin. We were all involved in a special today. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's talk about, everybody listen to this show. I like to, especially for Alex and Garrett, they like to let you know that they almost died getting here today. So
it's a true story.
A very special show. We
were in the Gauntlet Mobile and it almost didn't make it here.
Who was Mr. Freeze took over the city. You guys got in the Gauntlet Mobile, but you got here.
Different universes, but
this is what these two go through. Not me. I'm in the comfort of my own home. These two go through to come bring you this entertainment. And speaking of which, we thought we'd bring up because we actually really we should promote ourselves more, but we don't. So I thought I'd bring up at the show, and on the show, it's kind of like a separate entity. Let's join these babies together. YouTube, go to our YouTube page at Wednesday Comics. These guys got the Gauntlet. Speaking of the Gauntlet Mobile, you guys do it every week. What kind of show is that? What do you do?
We just give you a rundown of what 6 books Garrett and I have chosen to talk about. It's not necessarily even the same 6 books.
What we're looking forward to for that week.
You fill your gems, your comic gems inside your Gauntlet.
You know what?
And you tell people what's the cream of the crop.
And sometimes there's a holy grail of issues that week that holds the other gems in place, which becomes then the true Gauntlet.
You know it.
Question about this Gauntlet is how hard is it for you guys to pick those 6 books?
It's not very. I think that, we
got a lot of books this week, right?
Well, generally we try not to do the same book.
We try to not do the same.
A little collab then. You guys collab beforehand.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes if there's a book that we're both like, now we both want to talk about it, we're sharing this.
By the way, I can tell you, I am not cool enough to know what you just said collab. I thought, what the fuck is that?
Collaboration.
But I got it. After.
Don't I do that always on the show? I shorten shit. So you guys collab. You get 6 gems. Sometimes you share a gem. You talk about them. The video goes up on our YouTube page. It's not that long, 5-6 minutes. You guys keep it short.
Lately, it's been probably
Almost
like 5 to
10.
10 minutes, I'd say.
I don't think it's ever been 10 minutes.
It hasn't been 10.
It's less than 10, but
it's less than 10. But I mean, if you're creating a block of time for you to watch this, 10 minutes.
Yeah, but what you guys are saying is it's nice, digestible form.
Yep.
You guys put it out there every Wednesday, sometimes Thursday. Depends when Daddy goes to sleep here.
There's some ghost in the machine jackass that edits it really weird.
He does. He puts notes in there once in a while.
Wow.
Wow.
And then every once in a while, Garrett catches up on books, and he sends it to me. I edit the show and put up there. It's a little more in depth about the books, like a book about books that Garrett only gets. Because I know I've heard from people on the show before that they're like, "Oh, when do you guys talk about this book?" Well, can't get every book.
Right.
So, but Gary gets.
We
more
sure do
books.
try though.
It's very much in its infancy. There's only 2 episodes out so far, but trying to get at least 1 episode out a week.
But there is a lot of books that we all get separately that we bring up on the show because we like to pick books in the show we review that we all read, or at least 2 people read. So there's some books that Garrett talks about on that show that he doesn't usually talk about. Batman Beyond, for instance.
Batman Beyond with our main man, Phil Hester.
When you talk about Injustice, you talk about Injustice in that show.
I know, but it's so hard to talk about it without spoiling it.
It's like Fight Club.
And like this one, I'm going to tell you just this. A Robin.
What issue?
Past, present, or future got fucking murdered like crazy this last issue. Like I flipped the page and I dropped the comic on the floor. I was like, holy shit. I can't even tell you what happened.
See, to be fair, you built it up enough that now you almost just need to tell me.
But
okay, no offense. I'm not going to read this. I realize we don't do the. I realize we don't do the show for me. We do the show for the listeners.
Say, right now,
other people.
That's what I was going to say. Right
who don't
now,
want things spoiled.
People are like, "Oh, please don't spoil it." Now it's like, just spoil it.
Just
Come on,
do it.
I don't care.
Should I do it? You want me to do one?
No, don't do it.
Okay, fine. I was ready.
You know what? I was
on your phone and show them.
I was going to tell you guys that us, talking about ourselves is like, oh, we're going to We took that humble pie and just threw it on the ground. I had a monster, and I'm just spruced up. Let's talk about shit.
Well, that's the thing. That's the reason I think why a lot of times, especially on social media, well, I try to, but really, like, we put the show out there. Obviously, we let you know it's out there, but really don't promote it that much just because it feels kind of weird. But at the end of the day, the show, people want to know about it. So I'm telling them, go to YouTube and see this guy, Alex and Garrett on the Gauntlet. Sometimes Guest Host 1 shows up on one episode. Very popular episode. And then sometimes Garrett puts out Catching Up with Garrett, and he'll tell you about some comics that he's catching up on. Also, coming soon, probably. We'll see. I was thinking about doing my own little show, and I wanted to put it out there for the people. What do they think I should do? Should I do like more of like an essay type show? I was going to write that essay about after death.
You know what you should do? You should do almost a catching up with Marvin.
I mean, if you could figure out what that plot was, maybe that essay would ever get made.
Should I catch up with the sender and make a video about it? Who knows?
It won't happen. I'm just saying that's what could happen. I mean, it's an option.
I mean, this is like Breaking Bad getting a 6th season. It's never going to happen.
Well, never mind. I almost fucking spoiled that show.
Spoiler King over here.
So let us know, 605-215-1849. Call in your voicemails. Let me know what type of show you want to see. We'll certainly listen to your voicemail. I'm not going to say I'm going to do your show, but throw me some ideas. And if I pick your idea, if it's good enough, I'll give you a shout out on the first show. We actually, so the free talk, a lot of times at the beginning of the show, we talk about something that pops up in the comic world.
That's who my guess was.
Some news or something like that. I'm not sure about the side talk why that's happening, but
because you just told me to write out what happened,
so it could be silent.
But he wasn't expecting me to respond to it.
Yeah, then he comments.
Well, that's fucking Alex's fault. So I'm just bringing the people what they want. I lead you to the water. You choose to drink.
I see. I don't even know what I was saying now. Oh, usually at the beginning we talk about free talk. We talk about something that popped in the comic world. You're asking yourself, why aren't they talking about a lot of big news happening this week? Why aren't they talking about it? Pastrami is back today, and he'll bring us the news later on their show.
Got you some sandwiches.
Turns out, we thought he was dead. You said on Twitter he said he just got food poisoning.
Yes,
he ate
ironically. Of course.
Yeah, he ate some bad cheese.
Isn't that cannibalism? Oh, you said cheese. Sorry, cheese, yeah. I thought it was meat that made him.
That's why it's ironic. It was food, but he's alive.
He ate some brie. Didn't agree with him.
Brie happens.
RootsOfTheSwampThing.com, your definitive online source for all things Swamp Thing. Holland Files number 2 is out. Garrett, how is it?
Holland Files 2 was awesome. A lot of cool images that you haven't got to see in Holland Files number 1. So definitely looking forward to finishing this bad boy.
And that's not the only thing. If you want to learn more about Swamp Thing, Alex, where would you go?
You're going to go to rootsoftheswampthing.com.
Make sure to stay in touch at rootsofswampthing.com on Twitter at DC World Swampy, Facebook.com/rootsoftheswampthing. But something that happened this week, let's talk about some comic books here. We have Justice League. What issue is this?
That's issue 39.
This is Christopher Priest and Ian Churchill on pencils and inks, and colors by Alex Solazzo.
Oh, not me.
So, first things first, let me just say, because I'm looking at that page right now, we did have some concerns with this fill-in artist, because Pete Wood's been doing it. I actually do like this artist. Cool.
I like the artist, too. I didn't think it took away from the book at all. I think it added to it.
Each style, there was actually another fill-in artist for a couple issues ago. But it's not really that big of a change. So,
but first take on that cover, thought it was Brian Hitch. Look closer. Thank God it wasn't.
So we are part 7? No, part 7.
Part 5.
Part 5.
Yeah.
You sure?
That's what it said right inside the book.
Issue 34.
Actually, I'm on that page. We are on...
It's part 6. 5 or 6.
34. It says part 1. Right?
Oh, Justice Lost part 1. But this is the...
Sixth issue
of Christopher Priest run.
Okay, but this is Justice Lost.
Yeah.
Part 1.
Does that mean there's only 4 more issues left to come?
Yeah.
Okay.
Short run. But I would think, we were talking about it before the show, there's a lot of things happening in this. So Justice League, to catch people up, it's been 6 issues of this. So Batman was too tired one time, and there was an explosion outside. They're trying to rescue some people. Wonder Woman's sword came out of her hand. Some guy picked it up, stabbed a nun in the back. And people are like, and there's a big talk about
impersonating Batman.
Yeah. What? Oh, well, that's later. And then somebody impersonating Batman starts killing people, and they're like, who do we know who's behind the mask? Like, if we were to subpoena Batman come and testify, we don't even know if the real Batman would come in. And they're like, how do you know every time Batman goes out that's really the Batman that was out the night before? Do you even know who he is? There's a lot of questions about and then where's your Fourth Amendment rights? Can they really do a search and seizure? Like, are they above the law? When they tell me that somebody's guilty, like, how much weight does that hold? Can I be like, oh, Batman told me that he was guilty? All this stuff, all these questions. And then we have this fan. As a fan of the Justice League, he's the one who built their watchtower. He's been listening on their comms forever, so he knows who all of them are. And he's impersonated them. He impersonated Batman, Hal Jordan. He impersonated Cyborg, kind of. That's when he first showed up at the ship. And then he did... Who else? No, he impersonated John. Yeah, that's right, John Jones.
Isn't he Aquaman right now?
Aquaman, correct. He stabbed some guys in the back at the beginning of this issue. And he's slowly... The thing is now we're at a conundrum, right? Where they're curious, how do they stop this guy? Because A, they can't lock him up because he knows all about them. Once they put him on the stand, he's going to tell everybody who they are. But they can't kill him because obviously they're not about that. And plus there's a spotlight on him right now with all this stuff going on. So let me ask you a question. We heard on the forecast this week, Alex said you weren't really enjoying it. Still not enjoying it?
Like, this book I thought looked really nice. Like, I didn't even notice there's a difference in artists, but this is one of those books that's kind of on the side for me. I'm like, yeah, I could take it or leave it, but with only 4 issues left, you guys are still getting it, and it's kind of like, I want to be a part of this just to at least have my 2 cents. Am I still enjoying it? So, but I was telling you guys before the show that I don't remember these guys getting split up, as right now the JL are all over the world in different locations. I forgot that. I was like, oh, why is Baz going around trying to find everybody? Why is Aquaman in the desert? What the hell's going on? So it's not like I'm technically confused. I'm just not. This book hasn't sucked me in yet.
The fan fucked with the transporter, and transported them all away from each other. That happened 2 issues ago, and then they did do an issue that took place after this, and then this one kind of started a little like the Aquaman part was before. And then everything else took place.
So, I mean, it's okay that I'm confused because we're just all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the most difficult storyline to follow, like timeline, I mean. Yeah. But yes, if you skip right over those little black things that he does, like those title page things, then maybe.
I look at them like this one had the Shark Tank or whatever it was called.
Right.
And I read it. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I get that. Then it, leads into the little bit of story that ties into the title.
Right.
I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Then we go to the next thing. I was like, I don't know what it is about this book. I don't know.
But what I think is really cool about this book, it reminds me a lot of like The Thing, like John Carpenter's The Thing, because he could be impersonating any of them. So we saw a scene, it was either last issue or this one, because I read both back to back, 38 and 39, but Jessica Cruz kisses Bruce or Batman.
Yeah.
But was that Bruce or was that
Jessica?
The fan.
Or fan.
Was the fan Jessica? Was the fan Batman? I mean,
his last issue.
The whole time when he was like leaving, I was like, I don't know. It seems a little fishy. Like,
so what is the fan? Is he he's a technological being?
We don't know.
Is he actually a person?
That's what we're trying to find out. Like, he could be anybody, but he's obsessed with the Justice League, so much so that like he not only wants to help them, but he's helping them so much that he's becoming a danger to everyone else.
Well, he's a fanatic.
He tried to kill the reporter and the lawyer. Was it a lawyer? Somebody else. But they were talking about, like, they were on TV talking about the Justice League, about how they should be locked up and all this stuff. And he went there to try to kill them. And luckily they were Wonder Woman and Batman. Who else was it?
Yeah.
In disguise, and they took him down. But I think he's just a person. I'm not sure though. Like, you're right. I guess they haven't explained it.
Well, when he's Aquaman, he just disappears.
Well, yeah, and so like this,
I think he's
a shapeshifter or something. Okay. Because like obviously at the end of this issue, the cliffhanger was that the Justice League lawyer was left on the ship. And she's like, well, let's get to work now. And that's obviously the fan.
Yeah.
So do you think it's the fan or do you think it's somebody else?
Oh, I see. That didn't occur to me that it was the fan. I was like, oh, there's just some... And that was another weird thing to me, is that Cyborg's just like, hey, lady, come with me up to our secret hideout.
Yeah. That's the fan. It's definitely the fan.
Yeah.
But I think, I think he is a shapeshifter now that I'm thinking about it, because he originally comes on and says, hey, we're just, my friend John Jones, I'm looking for him. And that bug thing happens. Like, that's supposed to be him. So I think maybe that's a sign to be like he's a shapeshifter too.
Right. It could be technology, or
is he
it could
John
be
Jones's bad guy? Like in the movie Doom, JL Doom or whatever it was, where he's like the maybe it
Like
was
a white Martian?
Well, kind of. Like maybe it wasn't Doom that I'm thinking of, but there's a bad guy version of John Jones that.
See, the thing that's interesting to me about this is that we have that aspect of it. It's like the superhero thing, but also there's a lot of like politics going on. Not politics really, but like really interesting questions about these people if they were real. Like even to the point when the Justice League meets with Superman and they're like, you got to talk to him. And they're talking about Batman. Be like, the dude's got a second Justice League. Like he went off into that without any of us knowing. And he's not going to listen to us. You need to talk to him about like, I kind of forget exactly, but they need to talk to him about like making sure like he's in this with us. Like he's so uncontrollable, and he decides. Then Batman's like, "Oh no, I'm leaving." Like Cyborg, you're in charge instead. So he decides to leave instead of stay with them. So I think just what I enjoy about this book is it has this kind of thing where there's still a lot of superhero stuff still. Like there's Flash when Flash is helping the Ray, and Ray's like, "Hey, you're the only guy who can be as fast as me because you're light, basically," and I'm. The Flash, so they team up. So it's like, oh, cool, they're teaming up. And you have the JLA helping out because the Justice League can't at that moment. And so we have that superhero stuff, but also there's like a court case going on at the same time. And that Christopher Priest kind of cut two different scenes. Like you said, it shows like the title page being like, here's where we are right now. There is a lot going on right now, but I think it's a nice mix, for me at least, that I can get my stupid superhero stuff and then also be like, yeah, but what if they were real though? Like if they existed in this world today, who's to say that I would want them around? Like, would I want a Superman around? Yes, he maybe, I know that he's good because I read his comic books. I can see all the stuff that nobody else sees. But if you were just a person in Metropolis, how much of Superman do you see? He just shows up and does stuff. And then he leaves. All the stuff that you know about him to know that he's good is stuff in comics that he does in private. And so would I really trust somebody like that has those kind of powers to come and always do good? Or am I just, or they, like they were saying, they decide what they want to do? And how scary would it be to have those individuals around and pretending like they're the police or above the police? And there's even a part, I'm not sure if this issue, where Superman's like, we can't get involved. It's not in international waters. It's not our call. We don't deal with nations' issues. And they were like, well, we have before. Somebody, I forgot who else was saying that. And Aquaman got mad about them. So there's a lot of those kind of questions about what the implications of a Justice League existing. And then also 2 seconds later, we have the Flash and the Ray, running through town. So like, right. I think actually it's pretty cool. I actually really like it, but.
Yeah, there's something fresh about this storyline that I've never really experienced reading Justice League.
They actually brought up what Garrett was saying, that he hates how the Justice League is always a trinity. And I think it was the last issue.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, they're like the main three, right? We're the other league, like we're the minor league. Like nobody really cares about us. And Wonder Woman's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, they do. And he's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So like they were bringing it up, being like, yeah, because like you guys are the team and we're your backup, basically. And she's gonna be like, no, we're a whole full team. So then you also got that dynamic of the team trying to figure out who they are, with Batman being less involved and giving up to Cyborg trying to step up and be a leader. I just think there's a lot of layers here. And and not to crap on Hitch's run, but we didn't enjoy it. Go back, listen to old shows. That was so surface level. And that was so like, oh, they're just going to fight a monster. And like, it clearly was them just fighting monsters and doing one-liners. Where this is like, so there's so many things you could like about it that it's way different than that run. There's so much stuff to dig into that I think maybe what you're talking about getting confused is just that it's so complex. There's so many things going on. And I did read a bunch of.
For the record, I'm a smart guy. Complexity doesn't cause a problem.
No, but I mean, that's the thing though. Like sometimes you got to read stuff a couple times if it's complex because there's a lot going on.
Well, and I think that's the part is that there's three different stories that are going on. Not three different stories, but there's three different points of view being shown. So you're getting the case, you're getting Batman still be the hero with everybody else, and then you've got the backup team going, well, we are the backup. No, we're not. We're part of the actual team. And then you're just trying to meld it all together. And it's the nice thing that Priest, right? No.
Yeah,
Priest. That he does is that he does give you those little black, here's the start of this little section, which is nice. So there's good things about it. And I think a part is that there is so much stuff that I'm trying to jam in 6 issues for me to read and to comprehend. or maybe I'm just realizing the JL is not my team. Hashtag not my team.
Maybe.
Not this book
No.
in particular. The Justice League. I'm like, I don't know how much I really care about these characters right now.
Well, how many of those characters do you actually like? 2 of them? If you really came down to it. Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Cyborg, do you care about, really?
No.
Superman?
I think I'd say Flash, Bats, and Wonder Woman. Everybody else, I'm kind of like, yeah, to me, they are the secondary team. If it was Hal and Jordan, then yes, I'd be like, yeah, I love that Green Lantern. I didn't get into Green Lanterns like you guys did. There's not that tie for me on those 2 characters. And Cyborg to me always just seems, I don't know, he always seems phoned in. This is actually the first time he seemed like a legitimate character and he wants to be taken seriously.
I like how he got a new ability in this issue too. He could just, I don't know why he wouldn't do that his whole life. I mean, ever since he became Cyborg, like just make himself not look like Cyborg, but whatever.
2 more things I like about this book. Actually, what you brought up, the Green Lantern thing is great because it does seem like them, like from the Green Lantern's room.
Oh, absolutely.
So I do love that about it, that I stopped getting that book, but I still get them. Because I felt that Tim Seeley stuff wasn't really them anymore.
No.
Another thing I like, doesn't really hold your hand that much, because there's times when people will be talking lingo and stuff like that, and when you're reading it digitally and you have to read the panel, like I was like, what the fuck's going on here? And then you go down, there's an note, and he goes, this means this, this means this, this means this.
That was
like,
38.
I know, I'm just saying in general, the whole arc, because we really haven't talked about it since it started. I do like that it does that. So I think maybe, Alex, the superhero part, I think actually, at least for me, is probably the weakest part of it. And if that's what you're looking for, then maybe that's why you're not enjoying this.
I think I've realized as a reader, I'm not. It doesn't have to be a superhero book, but I think it is just there's so many different layers going on that I'm not used to reading a JL book that's got layers. I'm used to like what we got in the Jeff Johns run from New 52. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's a little holding your hand, but this is the point of the book. I mean, we're getting to expansive things where these characters are actually almost struggling to be a team. Because are they doing the right thing? Or are they doing the wrong thing? Are they the good guys? Are they the bad guys? Who the hell got a hold of my sword? Who is the bad guy that we're actually trying to fight? Who is who is this person being today?
Yeah, I think Jeff Johns' run is more like big threat.
Yeah.
Like it's more like Darkseid's coming, we got to fight him, and you know who the bad guy is, you know who the good guy is, and it's more about that team coming together and defeating a bigger threat. Where I think this is exactly what you're saying. It's questions. It's like, who are these people? Do they really deserve to be in charge of saving us all? Did I ask for it? I don't think I asked for it. And then at the end of the day, too, also, like, are they really a cohesive team enough to warrant that kind of trust? And they clearly don't trust each other sometimes. So how are we supposed to trust them when they can't even trust Batman?
I think for me, it's the same with the JL movie, is that in my world, Bruce is one of the smartest people. And for Bruce not to know an answer or not already have solved the problem, it throws me off. Like this Bruce, he's just kind of like, I don't know what's going on. I'm leaving this group for a while. I'm going to go hang out with the JLA. And same within the movie to me. That to me is not a Bruce Wayne I can connect to, because he's not in my world.
What movie?
Huh?
What movie?
The JL movie. The Justice League
action.
live action
Oh.
movie. I'm sorry. I was
Okay.
the same thing I do to you guys on texting. I don't actually tell you where I'm going. I just drive off the cliff. And then you
Dogs
guys
bark.
you guys are dead.
Thanks, Alex.
And I'm just like talking to skeletons.
I would give this issue itself, like I thought the last issue was pretty wordy, but I give this one a 9. Like I really enjoyed the
me too.
storyline. I think that, I don't know. Have you ever seen The Thing, Alex?
Yeah, Marvin and I watched it.
Yeah, we watched it.
Okay. Well, we all watched it together.
Did we?
Yeah.
No, it's before I met you, where I should.
I'll say,
But I watched it with you.
Yeah,
Oh, weird.
I think-
well,
I think
you guys were holding hands when I wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
This is before we met.
Me and
You and I
him
were
cheated
like
on
a
you.
year of
That's a movie I show
watching
everybody.
movies.
Well, yeah, that's what it feels like, and that's what's fun about it.
And I guess maybe it's been a long. I mean, I understand the thing. You're not sure who he is, but I don't know.
You're just overthinking it.
I would think.
I think that's my problem. As I'm going into this now, and I'm thinking too hard,
Yeah.
and so I'm ruining this book for myself.
I do like Christopher Priest. I'm not sure what he'll do after this is done. If he's still going to be on Deathstroke, but I do know he's doing Batman versus Deathstroke, so that'll be coming up. So very excited. I do like him as a writer still, but I think it's part of what you guys didn't like about Deathstroke, and is that he took that character and was like, well, what if Deathstroke really existed? Like, what problems does he have? What questions do we have to ask about who he is? And that's what he took with the Justice League, deconstructed him, and that's what we're getting. So I'm not sure like you said, the Batman is perfect and like he knows the answers, also like that. This Batman is just a guy who one day, like the beginning of the arc, didn't get enough sleep and he can't be Batman.
I find it weird that I don't like the logical part of this book, and that's what's weird is that you think this would be my like a shoe.
I've been trying to say that whole review, but I didn't want to call you out. This book is very logical, this whole arc, and it's surprised you don't love it for that.
That's what doesn't make sense. Like, this book should be my favorite. Going, but holy crap, everything's answered.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Batman, you don't like the logical part of Batman. Like you want him to be this perfect guy who like.
No, but that's weird too. Because in that detective issue, I want to know how he got that damn thing in his tooth to spit it back out. God. So I want logic, but I want Bruce to be. I want him to be the quote unquote god that everyone thinks he is.
What do you give?
And when he's not, I give this. To me, this issue was like a 7.
Sorry, I thought you were done. What were you saying?
Had good art. What? Now you're confusing.
No,
me.
if he's not a god.
Oh, that I want him to be that, quote unquote God that everyone thinks he is in the DC world. That, oh man, who's the Batman? That's what he is to me. He's the Batman, not just Bruce. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Okay.
What did you give it again? Sorry.
7.
7. Okay.
Do you listen when I talk to you?
No, but I was too concerned about interrupting you, so I was like, go back and.
You give it a 9?
Yeah, 9 too.
You too. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Nothing's wrong with you. You can have a different opinion and not like something.
No, I know, but it's just, and at least I had like a good reason why I don't like it. It's too logical.
I like how you said, "Oh, I don't like it." 7. Like that's
7.
Still liking it.
Shit. You know what I did like this week was Punisher: The Platoon number 6 of 6, written by Garth Ennis and art by Goran Parlov, colors by Jordi Belair.
That's probably be my pick of the week.
I actually was.
Wishy-washy?
No, I did like this issue, but the thing that I was expecting to happen only was maybe a page long.
And I think on reason, I like on purpose.
Yeah.
On reason. On purpose, very fucking vicious within like 2 panels.
Yeah.
So to catch
you guys pull back the curtain?
Yeah.
No, this is Injustice. Don't want to spoil shit.
Do you see Nargo?
So the lady who's been trying to kill him since issue 1 because he killed their whole family, the Vietnamese lady. The last issue we saw, he caught up to them and stabbed him in the back. This issue starts with the fight. They're still fighting, and she's on his back stabbing him, and kind of like what do you call that? Piggyback ride style.
Yeah.
And he fucking is so vicious. He sees a rock on the ground, like a huge boulder, runs up to it and fucking
falls back on
it so that like it breaks her spine, and she's paralyzed looking up. And they're telling this in the form of the reporter's asking his platoon mates like what happened next, and the platoon mate says what happened next is none of your business. But then they cut to and they show he goes over, straddles her, looks at her and slits her throat and like kills her instantly. I don't know.
It was good. Because you watch in the pictures he's sitting on her and this knife is dripping blood. I assume
it's definitely the moment when he loses all humanity. Like he does paralyze her to get him off her, but he still has to kill her to be like, no, I got to get rid of you. Even though if you think about it, it's probably more humane to kill her.
To me, that was a mercy kill because he was gonna leave her paralyzed and just laying there for days.
But she would have got picked up by her people.
Well,
she could have lived still.
But I get that he wants to finish the job. There needs to be closure. You just literally stabbed him in the back multiple times. You got to die.
Yeah, but still, it's still like that person. She could have lived, like still, like a good life.
Depending on how paralyzed she was.
Yeah, I know. But
if you're from the neck down.
But she didn't even give her a chance. She just went over and killed her. But I think the part of it is that what's the word I'm looking for? I guess so Punisher about it is that he doesn't even care. He just goes over here and kills her. And their platoon mates were like, when he's like, it's none of your business. He's saying that because they know, like, that's the moment where they lost him. They know, and they talk about the whole rest of the issue. That's where that ends. And the rest of the issue is them just talking to the interviewer, being like, "Yeah, we got home safe. Some people didn't. Some people went back. Some people didn't come back from the second tour. Some people came back and got cancer and died. I was from Agent Orange. But the only reason that we got to come back is because basically he sacrificed any normal life he would have had to become that man and to save us all when we like, because they show you in that last issue, like they all, like when the shit's going down, when the Viet Cong, so they stop shooting mortars at them and the Vietnamese soldiers start heading towards them again with the guns, and they're all screwed. One guy has his guts all over the place. The other guy is like freaking out. He doesn't know what to do. And LT, good old Castle, said it's the one that gets them all, like basically like slaps them all in the face, said, let's go. Like they're coming for us, and gets them all. When they're all scared, he's not scared. And he's the only reason they didn't die right there.
Well, I say, if nothing else, it's the way I read it is actually these guys are so appreciative.
They are.
To, I was going to say Bruce, to Frank.
That's what I mean.
It doesn't even seem like he lost his humanity. He was doing something. These were his family as of right now.
Whether you talk
away
about,
from his wife and his child is my objective is to get you 6 or however many men are in the platoon home.
Yeah.
And whatever that takes on my part, if I've got to kill that village and make an enemy, that's fine.
Well, I think, that's what he means when he was like, what happened next? And he's like, that's none of your business. They're still protecting Frank from like them getting, because that guy, all he wants to hear is, when did he become the Punisher? And they won't give it to him because they are so appreciative of what he did to them. They're like, that's none of your business. That's for us to know. And then later on in the story, they said, the reporter asked them, do you think that him being over there, is that what made him become the Punisher? And again, I forgot who it was, someone else said, they go, that's none of your business whether or not he became the Punisher. He goes, if you want to know what happened over there, here's what happened. He sacrificed his whole life so that we could have kids and have grandkids and see them grow up and grow old together and have normal lives outside of that. Because he kept going back on tours.
Yep.
And somebody at the end of the issue ends with, he said, the last time I saw him, I waved at him while the helicopter took me away. And I knew he couldn't wave back because his arm was in the sling. I knew he couldn't wave back, but I just had to wave at him. And he just turned around and went back into Vietnam. He just walked away. Like he knew at that point that Frank's like, I got another one safe. Like I got him away.
Yep.
And they talk about the leader, the general, because he also interviewed the general of the Vietnamese side, said that there's a base that they would always, that base that the whole arc they've been trying to save. He was like, I never knew. He's like, why the Americans wanted to save that base. It was worthless to us. We were just fighting for our homeland back, and the Americans were fighting for nothing. I think that really is the perfect allegory for this war. We are fighting for our home back, and the Americans weren't fighting for anything, and they didn't even know why they were fighting for. And he goes, no, that's not. And then the Vietnam general rephrases. He goes, let me rephrase that. He goes, that's not fair. He goes, they were fighting for something. They were fighting for each other over there. They were fighting to make sure that their brothers didn't die over there. And then that's when they tell a story about Frank being like, yeah, he saved us. And it turns out this whole story, we were so concerned about like, oh, when is he? And I think it's Garth Ennis's point where it's been so vicious and being like, oh, is this what made him the Punisher? And we've been saying it for weeks in the forecast. Is this what made him the Punisher? And in this last issue, Garth Ennis basically tells you it doesn't matter. It's not up to you to decide what made him become the Punisher. These people, like he saved all these lives. And isn't that enough that he saved these guys and then they went off and had kids? So he saved those kids' lives that would never been born, saved their grandkids' lives. Like he saved so many people over here. And you're wondering, is this what turned him to murder rather than this is just what made him a hero?
I say, and that's the thing is that this book makes Frank a hero. It's not that he's the anti-hero. It's not he's the murderous man. It's he, like you said, he let these men go home, have wives, have kids, have grandkids. If Frank wasn't there to protect them or to kill these people who needed to be killed, at least to protect their lives, then none of that would ever have happened.
If anything, he became a monster so that they could live as men. That's what happened.
Well, that's kind of like what we had talked about in the Swamp Thing annual.
Yeah.
Is that he's the monster that needed to be had.
Yeah.
And he would fix things in the end, but as of right now, he has to be this creature to win the day for these guys. And at the end of this book, you actually do see the guy who is telling everybody that Frank, went and turned around. You actually see at the last page, Frank does wave.
That's what I was going to say. The art of this whole series has been great. When it needs to be brutal and like even gross to a point, it does the job. And I think it needs to do that to show you how horrible this was. Because remember I told you, it's not exciting to see this gore, even when the guy had his guts on the ground. It's not exciting to see that. It's actually told in a way where I'm like, man, that sucks. Like, that's horrible. Like, it's not like, oh, we're getting into a firefight. That's pretty cool. No, it hasn't been cool the whole time. But it's also the art style is good for those moments. That last page is great where you just see him waving away to Frank, and Frank's just this little speck.
Yep.
And he's left at Vietnam. And it's just like the implications of seeing him be like, he's stuck there. Like, he's going to stay there as long as he can just to get these boys out. And, but they get to leave.
The, even the word imagery that, Garth puts out there for you is when I think it's the medic of this platoon is trying to put the guts back into one of the sergeant, and he goes, it's like sticking my hand in a bowl of liver or a thing of wet bloody liver. And it's like, okay, that's gross. And the last issue, when you're in the swamp and you're watching, there's a maggot in a dead guy's eye and stuff. It's like this is.
It's not. It
looks great.
It's not easy to read or look at.
But it's I mean, it looks great, and an art standpoint also looks disgusting. And just imagine that's literally what it would have looked like.
I've been telling people, and I think I even said on the show a couple of times, that if you replace Frank Castle in like the whole Marvel kind of part of this book, and put somebody else in there, and just establish that he came back and he became a vigilante. This doesn't have to be a Marvel book.
No,
like it literally is a war book. And it's just telling you about the cost of war, not just people who died, but people who basically, like Frank, sacrificed his whole life to make sure people went home safe. And he was going to do no matter what he needed to do to make sure they did. And I think, like you said, this whole issue was turning him from 5 issues of us. And I think we saw a hint of it when he was talking about his kid, not his kids, his wife.
Yeah.
In that one issue, that it turns somebody who were like, oh, we're watching the creation of a monster. That's what we thought the series was going to be about. And it turns out, no, it's about the creation of a hero who had to become a monster to save these people. Like, yeah, he does turn that way. And like, we do know where he goes and becomes. But these people don't seem like that. Even to this day, when they're really old, they're still trying to protect them. They're like, we don't care what he did when he came back.
Well, even in the, not necessarily the current Punisher book as of right now, but you never get the story of the victims that the Punisher saved.
Yeah. The
people that he goes to kill the mafia because they're punishing or torturing their family. You never get to hear the good things. So it's one of those things he's always given that dark light of, oh man, he just kills bad guys. But you never ask the people who he saved them from. So
you know what it reminds me of? That great Greg Rucka run of the Punisher. Where it ends like when he does the Warzone kind of storyline.
Yep.
And it ends because Cap asks him, stand down, soldier. And he stands down. He goes, yes, sir. And it's even in that point, you're like, he's still like, this is the guy we see here. He's still that guy that's like, no, it's him. Like I'm doing my duty. And when he's told by Captain in that run to stand down and not fight anymore, he does stand down. And in this, when he's told basically to keep these guys safe, he does not waver from that. He's going to do everything he can to make sure that even if it means he put himself in a danger a lot. They didn't even talk about it. He took bullets for those guys. Mm-hmm. Like he stepped in front of bullets so that they wouldn't get shot.
Well, he even jumps on the sergeant who had gotten his guts blown out, still alive, has his guts blown out. And when they're still dropping bombs and mortars, he jumps right on top of them to cover him up still. Yeah,
to make sure he doesn't get any debris and stuff in there because otherwise he'd get an infection and die. But, yeah, it was great. I loved it. That was a 10. That's my pick this week.
Yeah, well, this is a 10. This whole series has been great.
Yeah,
and I got a little. I was almost disappointed when the fight was so short. I was like, well, of course it's short. He didn't waste any time.
No,
to take her out.
That's what I'm saying. It's not glorifying the violence. He kills her in 2 seconds because that's
what he needed to do.
He's not trying to make the fight look cool. He's trying to get rid of her to save his people, and he does it right away.
And then when you actually got to the end, and it's and I am one of those people. I needed less talking. This is one of those books that the speech bubbles and all the conversation, it was needed. And it was so good to hear.
This is just great about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is one of those ones, I wanted the bubble. I wanted the explanation. I wanted to hear the love that these guys had for the LT. So this was the 10.
Yeah, and that last page is really great.
I'll have to get in trade sometime when it comes out. Next, we have Milk Wars Part 4, which is Swamp Thing and Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye. Written by John Rivera, drawn by Langdon Foss, with colors by Nick Fulardi. So we get Cave Carson, his daughter Jane, Wild Dog. Basically, they're at this corporate office when we start in this book, and milk's being passed out. And you can tell right away that Cave Carson's feeling sick. And basically, how Swamp Thing gets introduced, right before this all happened, he basically pukes out. I mean, he eats whatever.
He's eating salad. He's eating vegetables.
Yeah, he's eating vegetables because Swamp Thing's trying to keep him pure and like not get him tainted from the milk. And about like 4 or 5 pages in, he pukes it all out and Swamp Thing appears. So art style is really good. Story itself, I mean, it was good. It was very
this whole
comical.
series is weird.
This whole series is weird. It doesn't seem like it has a... I mean, you can tell that they did not mean for this to be super linear, I feel. Because it even says in the back when it's like, next we have the conclusion of Milk Wars. But then it's like, but you can read these. And then they list like the books and it's like in the random order.
Yeah. Actually, that's what I thought because I read Shade and Wonder Woman and then this back to back. You don't have to.
Nope.
No.
You could literally read the first issue of JLA in Doom Patrol and probably this last one, and that's it. The middle part, those 3 issues, are just establishing why these heroes are going to show up in that last issue, really, and how they got involved in their little side stories. But I thought it was still fun.
Yeah, it was a really fun book. I mean, you get a lot of Easter eggs, I would say, in this issue itself. I mean, right away on the cover, you see the multiversity map. When you get into the book, you know, the little action figure, not the action figures, little dolls. Or
yeah, they're supposed to be like Funko Pops.
They look like
Right.
Funkos to me.
And
Yeah, they're like Funkos.
They're making fun and be like, yeah, every single thing that you could think of, they've chose to make merchandise of. And I just found that funny. They were just like, yeah, there's a pop for everything. There literally is a pop for everything. There is a pop for like Arrested Development, Parks and Rec, and it's just like,
Well, there's even that Funko Pop of Dr. Malcolm from Jurassic Park laying down all sexy. So
well, that one I need. So.
I know you do. It needs to be right there.
They even have like an adult line of Funko too.
Do they really?
For like horror movies and things like that.
Yeah. The art was really great. Who did the art?
Just
Foss.
read it, Marvin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's Foss's last name. Langdon Foss.
Look at that page you're looking at right now with all those cubes and that kind of maze. It even for me, it kind of feels like a fever dream, right? Where she's like, oh, I forgot where the break room is. Don't you always have those dreams where you can't figure out where stuff is?
Right.
And like you're stuck in that maze.
That was cool to just look at. I mean, and
it was
almost
a good
every
page.
cubicle has one of those little Funko toys in it too. If you look even closer.
And I think that, so if you're like, oh, should I get this book? If you're interested in Swamp Thing at all or anything kind of like weird, yes. Anything else, I don't know if I would really pick. It's not connected to the other stories. So if you want to, you can skip it. The art's really cool, but I don't know. I felt like there was a lot here that I enjoyed, but I don't know if I can like recommend it to somebody because I feel like they would expect more.
This Milk Wars is different than I had anticipated.
It's very weird.
Yeah, and I
Dude, that shade in Wonder Woman was so weird.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really bizarre.
I think it might have been weirder than that first issue.
I was fine with the Wonder Woman one. Still, that JL one, weirdest one I've read.
Yeah.
But Swamp Thing looks cool in here, the way he's drawn.
That's the best part about
He's
this book.
the best part of this book.
Yes.
Yeah. When he shows up and then he's literally like killing all these people that have milk inside them, except for obviously our heroes who he's trying to save. He like purges them of their milk and it's so fucked up. But when he literally kills someone and it looks like he's smiling almost. And he like rips this guy in two. And I guess he's the guy that's like the corporate like, you thought, like, we knew you were going to do this. Like, we knew you were going to come in here and try and ruin everything. Like, we planned for this. And you can just see him getting fucked up by Swamp Thing. And then next thing you know.
That Swamp... Okay. Like, I understood Swamp Thing was inside Cave Carson. That's just Swamp Thing killing that guy.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just using his vines and it's like, this corporate stooge is going down.
Okay.
I think he infected the milk. He was in the milk and they all drank the milk and he came out of it.
Splurged right out of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he gives the flower to Cave's daughter. And he did exactly what me and John were talking about a couple weeks ago on the show, where he could just like basically teleport to any plant. And that's how he's like, I'll find you. Don't worry about it. And he shows up in that flower. I thought that was cool. Nice throwback to how his power should be. And just overall, I thought it was like fun. But like I said, like I don't know, it's weird because I can't find the words for it. I don't want to say it's bad. It's not bad. It's good, but like I'm not gonna tell somebody if they're like, oh, I have $3.99. Should I buy this book? I'm gonna be like, oh, maybe not. But if you're already into all the stuff that it's like, if you like all the ingredients already, yeah, I'd say get it.
I mean, if you like Swamp Thing, you get some cool Swamp Thing action, but you don't really get any depth in Swamp Thing.
No,
if you like comedy, I mean, there's a lot of comic beats in here, like the "Hello, my name is Dave," and he gets his head chopped off, and then like by Wild Dog, like that's pretty funny.
You know what moment made me laugh a lot? I don't know why. When he's like, I'm either gonna throw up or shit myself, and it's like censored, and then the guy goes, watch your language in here. And I was like, what the fuck? It made me laugh. I don't know why, but it just made me laugh that Wild Dog tells Cave Carson to watch his language. But it's very strange. Like I was gonna give it a 7, solid 7. But I mean, like if somebody likes Swamp Thing, I'd be like, yes, read it. If somebody was into Cave Carson, yes, read it. If somebody was getting Milk Wars, I'd be like, hey, it's probably one of the best ones, so yeah, get that. But like if somebody just off the street, I don't know. I
think the only two things that pulled me into the book was knowing that Swamp Thing was going to be in it, and that to finish the collection of the 5 books, I would want to have it. There's not a whole lot otherwise pulling me in. I don't know anything about Cave Carson other than the fact he's got a cybernetic eye.
Yes.
I could have given 2 craps, but it could have been Joe Smo and Jalupa John, and I would be like, oh, by the way, not real characters. And I would be like, oh, okay, that's whatever.
Now we're going to get sued because they actually exist.
If there's the Jalupa John, I will be so surprised.
But you can tell that Swamp Thing's, got some feelings for Jane throughout this issue. I mean, more of like a protective guardian kind of thing, but like he obviously, maybe she looks like, was it Abby Arcane? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's probably very...
Who at the end of the issue is going to go off? They're like, okay, let's go.
So Wild Dog, Swamp Thing, and
they're all going.
Jane.
Who's got wings?
Right.
He burst those wings right out of that back.
Well.
Yeah. They leave.
After a talk with John, I was like, oh, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, so they leave, and then basically Cave Carson's like, oh, I'll take care of this. Like, I'll make sure.
Oh, he stays behind. That's right.
He stays behind, and then he's like, all right, take me to your leader.
This Doom Patrol JLA book we're going to get next week. It's going to have Swamp Thing in it. It's going to have them, Wild Dog, and it's going to have Batman, right? And Mother Panic.
Mother Panic will be in there.
And then Wonder Woman and Shade.
Yep.
And then the Doom Patrol and the JLA.
So now, is it a bigger issue next week, or is it? I mean, it's just wrapping up everything.
See.
Okay.
But they, like Garrett's been saying, that first issue had story. These next 3 have kind of been on their own. We'll get the end of the story. So I'm not sure. I'm sure that I'm sure that story is just them infiltrating Retcon and ending that. Okay. So it's going to be like a big.
It should be good.
Big fight.
Big weird book.
Big weird fight.
Yeah, it's hard to get really in depth on this review.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying.
It's like it's so surface.
That's what I mean. Like
basically, Swamp Thing comes, helps save Cave Carson, Wild Dog, and Jane.
The whole issue is just a chase shit. They're chasing.
They're leaving. Cave stays behind. The end. Well, you see some cool action. People get like, if you remember Alien and like seeing white blood like flying everywhere, that's what this reminds me of. Is like all the androids getting fucked up. So, the one thing that really disturbed me down is inside the Funkos. It's like meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's fucking
cracking.
Gross. Yeah, it makes me think of like Chucky or something. I don't know.
But now you're thinking entertained by a Funko meat inside. So buy a bunch of them, save them up for the apocalypse.
Delicious.
Yeah, crack those bad boys
what do you guys
open.
Give it? This is a 6.
No, I'm gonna give it more. I'm gonna give it an 8. Like, yes, it was very simple, but it was funny. It was like funny. It was a good read. Like I wasn't bored by any means. And like some of that art, like that cubicle scene like you were just talking about, I could have stared at that for like 5 minutes and still seen new things every time.
Art was good. I like the art a lot.
Yeah,
I liked that cubicle scene. I thought was really good. But this is one of those books that, like you had said, this is kind of a take it or leave it. If you're interested in some of the ingredients, you'll enjoy this book. There's things I liked, but there's also, it was pretty just, we're running.
And I have a question for you guys. Does anyone give a shit about this Eternity Girl thing?
I ignored it.
I haven't read one of them. So
yeah, it's so boring. I read it every time, and I'm just like, why? Doesn't matter. And then you can see that they're trying to hype up the Eternity Girl book coming out, but I'm like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I was fine not reading it. I actually spent more time looking at this Rampage the movie toys. So I give this book a 6. okay. I'm actually more excited now to see what next week has with all the other characters coming into it.
Right. I think that'll be a very explosive issue. But yeah, it's a lot of. You're right. It might need to be a little oversized, which the first one was pretty big.
Yeah,
So
but I
part
think that
was-
one felt big because it was so
Yeah.
wordy.
Right.
Oh, my only concern. This is why actually I can't recommend it to somebody because it isn't $3.99. It's $4.99, right? It's like $5.
I thought this was $3.99.
Well, this one was $4.99.
Oh,
They've all been $4.99, which I think
Oh,
the
you're right.
first
They
one
all
needed
have
to
been.
be, but the rest of them could have been $3.
Yeah. They could.
I think just because
some fat.
I think that Eternal Girl that you're just talking about, I think that's their justification for it being $5, but it's just like the 2 pages.
yeah.
I don't need it.
but if nothing else, hey, for 5 weeks we've gotten this one, a book, and it's gonna be wrapped up next week. That's nice.
Yeah.
Next, we got Doctor Strange Damnation. This is Nick Spencer, Donny Cates, and art by Rod Rice. This is the event stemming off of Secret Empire. Been a while. About Vegas died in that issue. Got destroyed. And we've been seeing in Doctor Strange, he's got new powers. He's got stronger powers. And so he uses them to bring back Vegas. And they're like, Thor was like, how can you do that? There's a cost to magic. He goes, yeah, but if it's worth it, if this happens and we see families reunite. And then here comes Mephisto. He's like, hey, actually, he tells the story about how when Vegas all died, God didn't want to do the paperwork. So they all went to hell, and he's been torturing them for a while. So he's like, this is my city now. And so now we have Mephisto versus Doctor Strange.
Well, he's pissed because Doctor Strange he wiped away his Sin City basically.
Yeah, he was gifted Sin City and then taken away by Doctor Strange. So he's fighting Doctor Strange now. Doctor Strange is fighting for the people's souls, basically. They make a deal at one point.
You know what?
The whole bolt of gold bricks.
Yeah, I found the timing of this issue is way off compared to the main series.
Yeah,
Because he's dealing with the shade thing, like Loki, whatever, and it just seemed it seemed like 2 different Doctor Stranges that were getting one from that book into this. Even though I know that Donny Cates has helped writing this story.
They do mention what happened in that book. I'm 100% correct. I'm correct. I'm 100% with you.
Yeah,
It's like it talks about this is right after Secret Empire. He brings back Vegas, but then also it's like, hey, by the way, he also got these powers. This is how he got these powers back. And it's like, well, it seems like that's a little off. Like,
and it doesn't
why is
even
he-
mention how he doesn't even. So he's just like, "Fuck you, Shade. I'm gonna go save Vegas because I'm bored." Like,
Yeah.
what? Okay.
Shade. You mean the Void?
The Void. Yeah, the Void. Whatever.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the Change Girl.
Oh no,
that's what I thought.
not my bad.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's the only thing I didn't like about this issue was that the concept of the timeline. I'm like,
I actually didn't get caught up on Doc Strange, the ongoing Doc Strange. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to read this book if it's tied into Spirits
Alex.
of Vengeance, or whatever.
Me too.
Did you?
I
Didn't you read it?
haven't read the last issue.
I just was like, you know what? I'm going to not worry about it. I know
I'm
that
caught
the
up
next
and it's not
issue.
even finished yet.
Well, that's the thing is that I
Yeah.
thought I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just
I
going to read
figured-
this Damnation
yeah.
and see what happens.
I figured it wasn't connected.
Yeah.
Even though Doctor Strange is the main character, I figured something like this was happening because it's literally said in solicits coming off of Secret Empire, and I was like, oh, this sounds like it's been in the works for a little bit. Maybe they're not gonna be able to mesh it, and it feels like that panel maybe even when he's like, oh, I got powers, is just put in there to be like, oh, this, we need something to show you this is not super old.
Yep.
Well, Doctor Strange, the book now is going to be him like in the casino doing. It says it's supposed to be like the poker game.
Well, I know the next at least issue or 2 issues ties in.
Yeah,
But you know what? Which is one of those quote unquote events that doesn't bother me. If it's
Right.
only going to be those few books that literally need to tie in, that's fine.
No more for 18 months. Students, stay tuned for the end of the show.
Rod Rice's art, or
Great.
at least that beginning. Holy crap, good.
Liked it.
Doctor Strange looks exactly like the detective from Cowl, like almost 100%. I can't even think of his name. It's been so long. But I saw that and I was like, God, I wish he was making a Cowl book with Kyle Higgins.
Yeah. At the end, every one of the Avengers that he brought there, Thor, Vision, some other people,
Black Panther, Hawkeye,
they all got possessed, so they're all done for.
Ghost Riders.
All Ghost Riders, kind of. Well, I don't think they're supposed to be Ghost Riders. They do look like Ghost Riders.
But their faces
Yeah.
burnt
Yeah.
off.
So we saw some people in Vegas that was happening to them too. When they were committing sins, he would bring them back to hell. Be like,
Yeah.
oh, you're sinning. Bring them back
Right.
to hell. Bring them back to hell.
Trap their souls in gold
Yeah.
bricks that Alex brought up.
So now we're going to see we see that, and then we cut to like there's a little mini story at the end with Wong and the dog,
The ghost
the
dog.
ghost dog that died in the Doctor Strange series.
Bats.
Bats, there you go.
He's back, baby.
Did you guys cry? Were you like, oh shit?
I actually get a little excited seeing him.
I did. I
say,
was
it
like,
was-
aw.
It was fun that Wong wasn't even fazed by there being a ghost dog.
Yeah, he's
Dog
just
scratching at the door, comes to get it. What do you want?
he tells him, "Hey, Doctor Strange needs your help. You need to get a team together." So then it does the
Summons him.
montage to bring everybody in. So we're gonna get Blade, Ghost Rider,
Iron Fist.
Moon
Iron
Knight.
Fist, Moon Knight. And then they go. Here, look, I'm gonna read real quick. The Knight. Here's
The Hunter.
The Hunter.
The thing is, I love that whole team, Iron Fist, whatever. But other than that, like, fuck yeah.
But Iron Fist makes sense. He's
Hunter.
mystical powers.
Right.
The Hunter, the Knight, the Slayer, the Order, the Fist to lead the way, the Rider.
Who's
I
the
didn't
Slayer?
know Man Thing.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
No,
that's
no.
the Order. That's the Order.
The Slayer is Bloodgood.
Who?
God, what's her first name? She was in that.
It's the Hunter. It's the girl. The monster
Slayer.
killer.
The Order is Voodoo, Brother Voodoo, and Man Thing.
Okay.
Which I was like, oh, cool thing. I read that R.L. Stein Man
Luna?
Thing.
Is that her name?
I don't know.
Nope. We're not looking at Marvin. We're looking at Marvel.
But the thing I've been wanting for Marvel forever is bring me back Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. And I know he's been in the Spirits of Vengeance, which has been great. But I know that there's going to be a
Elsa
spin-off
Bloodstone.
series.
There you go.
That's who she is.
Spin-off series with just Johnny Blaze. And I'm like, yes, please, God.
See, I was going to get that Spirits of Vengeance only for Blade.
Blade's badass.
Blade. I want a Blade book. Still waiting for that one from Tim Seeley.
never
That'll
gonna
never come happen. You know what my biggest thing
Now
for
I don't
that
even
book-
know if I want it to happen because he took over Green Lantern.
Not
That's
necessarily
been
from
shit.
him. Not necessarily
No,
from him. I want.
he's not doing the book anymore.
No, I know that. I'm just saying I want a Blade book.
Yeah, I want to play book too.
But
Tim Seeley said he wasn't going to do that book because he started to get ideas together, and then he figured this is not my book to write. Like a person of an African American person should write this book. He said so. He didn't want to do it, which makes sense. But hopefully we'll talk about it later in the show. Something's happening. We're going to shake up here. We might get a Blade book. They would be stupid not to, because I'm sure Blade movie reboot coming. Don't quote me on that, but quote me on that. I have a feeling they're going to bring back Blade.
can see that.
They own it now, so might as well. Yeah, this was good, but like Garrett, I felt like it seems a little late. So
It's late in some aspects, early in others, and like doesn't make any fucking sense at other parts.
So you kind of have to think about it as like just in my head, I just was like, this is a part of any continuity. This is
Right.
Elseworlds.
I was just going by. This is called Damnation. That's what it is.
Seems like it might be fun. The art's great, so I thought it was a good night.
There
Good
were
eight.
there were one or two panels that art wise I was like, yeah, it's good, but it just seemed a little weird. Not weird like off. It just seemed not correct.
Right.
Didn't seem like it was finished all the way in that one panel. Then in other parts, it blew my mind. So
Can we all agree though that Mephisto actually made sense to be a villain in this story?
he actually was kind of
He did.
fun.
I liked him as a villain, and I like the reason why it made sense, like you said, that he's the villain because like they all got sent to hell, and now Captain America, Doctor Strange took them all back. So he's like, hey, look what the fuck, I had them.
Yeah, this is my cash crop, and you just got rid of it.
And so I liked his little
I like how he
background
looked
story.
in
I
this
was
one, too.
bored.
Yeah, that suit was sweet.
Yeah. He looked legit.
More businessman, Las Vegas businessman, casino owner than devil. So it was good. It was an 8. It was fun.
I give it an 8 too.
This is
I'd
one I
agree.
would if somebody off the streets. Once again, I don't know who this guy is,
Off
but
the streets.
this guy off the streets was like, "Hey, can I get a comic book?" I go get the Damnation. I would give it to them.
Yep.
I'm more excited about the potential though. I love the supernatural side of the Marvel universe, and I'm very excited for like Ghost Rider. I mean, we already get first off. Where's Moon Knight been as a comic though? That book hasn't come out in a while.
It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, but anyways, it'll be cool to see like all the other characters: Man Thing, Ghost Rider.
My
Ghost Rider,
one
Ghost
complaint
Rider.
character wise was Lady Thor.
Takes place before 703 Editors now.
No, and I read that part,
I don't know why that was funny to me, what it was.
but it was something that she had said. Maybe that's the thing. It's I had read 703, and she goes, "You shouldn't be using your magic like that. That's bad." And I just want to go, damn, shut up.
She doesn't like magic.
I get that, but you know what's keeping you alive? Magic. It's a stupid hammer.
That's killing her.
She's a hypocrite.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's a hypocrite.
I would say, speaking of this man on the street, you don't have to read anything to read this book. You can pick this up if you just.
Oh
like,
yeah,
Oh, I like these characters. Yeah, pick it up.
lays it all
They
out.
explain it
I
within
like the
first
next
page.
issue even more.
They explain it on the first page. So
Hey, where's that the devil girl from Spirits of Vengeance? Is she gone?
I feel like she'll show up.
you
Her
got
and
Spirits of
Hellstorm.
Vengeance?
I do.
No, but I just know that she's in it.
Oh, okay.
Because we
I know
were
you-
talking about her
Can't think
name.
of her name right now.
Santana.
Yes,
With an S. Is it?
it is that. She's David Hellstrom's sister.
Yeah, the girl with the horns and the red
Right,
suit. Yeah.
yeah.
I just didn't know if she died in the book, and that's why she's
I haven't
not
read
here.
the last issue
Because I'm
yet.
surprised they haven't she's not part of the group, but
What do you give this book?
8.
Garrett?
I said 8.
Okay, me too. Solid 8.
So we all said at the same time, but
8s get dates.
Alex, what else do we get?
we've got our Department H number 23.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Sorry, I forgot we were reviewing that book.
Written and art by Matt Kent and colors by Charlene Kent. This cover is immaculate. I love this, just shades of blue with Maya's face on it.
Can I say the last 3 issues have been so strong?
Holy cow.
Capping off with this issue, which might be the strongest one out of all of them. In that moment, so she's what do you call it? Swimming
up
to the surface.
the thing you can't do.
Swimming up to the surface, she's kind of losing consciousness. All that pressure, she's getting all fucked up. But she has this moment of clarity in this moment because she's like, "Let me think about other things, so I don't think about I'm gonna fucking die and I can't breathe." And she puts the pieces together and realizes what's going on, and that the person who killed her dad was his financial partners. Is that who it was?
Was it Blake?
Blake, and Alan was involved only because he was forced to be involved. And they
He was pressured into
Who's the other one?
Space guy.
Yeah.
Or
So
no,
they-
he was the ocean guy.
He had 2 financial partners. One wanted to keep exploring the ocean. Another one wanted to go to space. And in order to keep exploring the ocean, they couldn't, because their idea was
Phil. Blake and Phil. Sorry.
Phil said, "We need to leave this planet. This disease is killing everybody. We need to get
No,
away
Blake
from
said
here."
that. Phil's the one that's for the ocean, right?
No. Blake's the orange hair guy.
Yeah, orange hair is Phil. And Blake's the business suit Tony
Oh,
Stark
okay. Yeah, it
guy.
was Phil.
Yeah.
So Blake was like, "We need to leave this planet. There's disease here, and we need to leave. That's why we need to explore space, because we need to find an alternate place to live." And Phil was like, "No, we need to explore the ocean. Only 1% of the oceans have ever been explored." And they found a cure when they were down there for this disease or doing their science work. And when Phil found out about it, he was like, "If this comes out and we can save people from this disease, then we won't explore, we won't need to stay here anymore." So, is that what happened? I think that's what happened. I was on the roll to be like, this is what happened.
Well, I think you're right. I'm getting
cure-
confused with the different people's
Yeah, that's what I'm getting
names.
confused on too. So anyways, the cure was the reason why it couldn't come out the cure, because if they got a cure, they would cure disease, and there'd be no reason to explore the ocean anymore.
Yeah.
Because we would have found the thing that we were looking for. So Phil decides to kill him. The only way they can get rid of it is they kill him because he knew about it. And then when
Well, and they're having conversations with Harry, and Harry's torn between the two of them,
Yeah.
going, do I bring the cure, but if I, save the many over the lives of the few, or, do we keep exploring these places and blah, 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 blah. Well, Phil doesn't like that, uses all the technology that Alan had been produced. Is Alan the one producing
yeah,
the
he's making the
technology?
drones. Yeah.
And so Phil kind of forces Alan's hand into destroying that part of the sub and killing Harry.
Well, crazy thing, we saw those drones very early on in this series,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. Like they're just kind of around and sporadic. And then, you notice that the ship number that crashed into it was 3. And the whole, you even see the clues page where it shows you every single clue. That was probably those Easter eggs that Matt Kent was talking about, because those are actual panels from the whole
book.
series. When it does that breakdown, because I have recognized the one I saw like very early on in the series with the giant beaker and the test tube. That 3 was the one that like crashed through, and now you can see there was a missing helmet for 3, meaning that was like an unmanned whatever submarine or whatever the thing is called,
Their uniform that they wear,
the
their
dark
swimsuit.
helmet. I don't know. Yeah, right. So, there's a little bit more obviously we're going to learn in the last issue. But
We're going to find out what she does, because as of right now, she's still swimming up and passing out.
But what I think is so beautiful about this series is, remember that, so this is like issue 10 or 11, where that issue is all about Mia's mother. In the background, Blake and Phil are in it. I remember that 100%. they're in that because they're in his office, in Harry's office. They're all talking. And it's like, holy shit, you don't even think to
Well, that's what she talks
pay
about in
any
this.
attention. Yeah.
She was like, I haven't been paying attention at all. Like, I should have known. And they even show her when they're having those arguments. She's in the background.
Right.
She's like, I saw this my whole life of them arguing about this. I should have known to suspect them from the beginning. And she puts all the pieces together and says, yeah, this all makes sense. Like, I saw this argument, I saw this one, and I saw all this go down. And I know that they've been having some issues lately. So, and then she puts together with those clues that she was finding. And she's like, yeah, I know who it is now. And then, like Alex said, though, like, she's not out of it yet, though. She's still swimming. Is she going to make it to the surface in time? I don't know. I actually don't have no clue because this series could end. It's not like it's an independent, dark horse thing. It could end with her dying, and then maybe they never find out anything about it.
Well, what's the thing behind? Like, there's a submarine behind her. That's the one that she took, right? So she's gotten out of the.
Yeah, she got out.
Okay,
because they ran out of thrust or something.
Yeah, so she's now having to swim, which is the smart thing to do. Is that her body will naturally decompress. Because that's the thing when you go scuba diving is that you're breathing pressurized air from above that when you go down, your lungs aren't.
You get the bends.
Yeah.
Right. Which is basically vertigo underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Art. I mean, we know that was great. I think that Charlene and Matt have hit their stride so well at this point in the
this
series.
issue look awesome.
Holy
This
cow.
issue.
There's like single pages. Like I wish I could just buy another comic, cut it all up, and put it on my wall. I mean, it just looks so good.
Well, Alex even said that cover's pretty great, too.
Yeah.
So the cover's simple. It's just her face, but it's different shades of blue. There's some big splash pages in this book that are just amazing.
Love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's good. And then there's I think the one that I really like.
The one Alex was showing us was the one where she's all tied up in the vines.
And one more. This one's showing all the water rising, and
yeah,
that's a good page.
I was thinking about it. I was reading this issue because we got one left, and we'll see if it wraps up or not. And it is normally if like in one issue they figure out everything and they wrap it all up, I'd be like, it seems kind of simple. But like what Garrett was saying, it's not them wrapping up one issue. It's them being like, hey, we've showed you this whole time. Here's all the clues, and she's just finally figuring it out because of the situation. And I actually did really like it because there's a lot. You can tell that Matt Kent wasn't just like, oh, I'll figure out what this mystery is as I go. He knew from the beginning to be like, here's a story I want to tell. And it always feels rewarding. I'm sure it does for you guys too. When you read something, you go, this felt like he planned it out from the beginning. And it doesn't feel like he ever made anything up on the fly, being like, oh, I guess this will work.
Yep. Right. When you get duped, and there's evidence that was pointing towards us the whole time, I would love to get duped every time like that. If I knew it was planned, dupe the shit out of me.
I was a little concerned this wasn't going to be satisfying, and it was nice to know that the bad guy or bad guys were not someone from the sub. It wasn't someone we've already been hanging out with and getting to know and not necessarily liking.
And if you think about it, though, the whole time when she was down there and she was like kind of like not trusting them and they weren't trusting each other and all this stuff was going on. And in the last issue, her brother got stabbed because they were having arguments of who was going to go up. And there's been all this animosity about like, did you kill him? And like, can I trust you? All for no reason, all paranoid.
Yep.
And that's really part of this series that was great, was that we never knew, they never knew. And it added this tension to them, like trying to survive, but also survive each other.
Yep.
And then we learn at the end, it's always the people with the money. Like they're the ones who are trying to stop the cure from coming out.
And we're going to get that Swan Song 24th issue, and it's going to be bittersweet. I mean, I think he's going to stick the landing 100%. I mean, he already almost has. He's got one wheel down.
I'd say the 90% of this book that he's written
good
has been great.
Yeah.
And I would be really surprised to see the ball get dropped.
And we also know that all of his books are in one shared universe, so if you go back and read other things, maybe they're on the surface.
My management right there.
As all three of us look.
Yeah, I didn't look.
I don't see it.
I looked at you.
Well, you're looking that way anyway.
I looked at you two looking over there. Yes, right at the second shelf.
The big
kind of towards the
book.
right. The pill kind of book.
Oh, I get you. Oh, cool. Is
That's
that the
the
whole
new-
series?
No, it's the first volume.
Oh.
Yeah, it was good. It was 9.
10 for me. It was my pick of the week. Definitely.
I'm struggling. I'm going to go 10. This was
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
This is a good book.
If this was the last issue, would I 100% be satisfied? No. But could I live with it? Yes.
But knowing that it's not the last issue,
makes
is that much better.
Correct.
So,
Dude, if this was the last issue and it ended with kind of like that last page, but a little pullback, and you see that she was almost to the service, and we never figured out if she actually got there or not, it would be a great ending, I think. But it wouldn't be like the ending that I think that Matt wants us to have. But it is kind of a great ending to be like, is she going to be able to solve her? She solved her father's death, but will anybody ever know about it?
like, I think if it was to end this issue and, like you said, pull back a little bit and see that she's almost there, may drown, may not, and leaves you open. It's like, yeah, that's exciting. It's fun for me to answer that book, but I would hope that there's actually closure to this book.
Well, you need answers?
I want to know whether I guess
want
for me
the truth?
I guess this is
You can't handle the truth.
This is one of those things I actually need to know if she lives or dies.
You goddamn right I called the code red.
No, you got to say, did you order the code red?
Oh, yeah. You goddamn right.
I don't have to speak. I don't need to hear. And then you said, did you order the code red? You're goddamn right I did.
Top 5 movie scenes.
Was that Jack Nicholson?
Yes.
All right.
Is that
Spot
Jack
on
Nicholson?
Impersonation. Wow.
Is that Jack
You ever
Nicholson?
dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
One of the most famous
a little more
movie
scary, but
scenes in cinema history. Is that Jack Nicholson? He asks. Of course, it's Jack Nicholson.
You know why? He's a few good men.
Nice.
Garrett, what else do we get?
Final book we're reviewing for the night is The Further Adventures of Nick Wilson, #2, written by Eddie Gorodetsky and Mark Andreyko, illustrated by Steven Sadowski, and colored by Hi-Fi Studios.
We get the second part of Nick Wilson's story. The first one was about what he's doing now after losing his powers. He was doing kids' parties, and then he got a call. Then the last one, turns out it was his arch nemesis from back in the day. And his arch nemesis is like, hey, you want to work for me? I'm gonna make a museum about you and about our old adventures, and I want you to be part of it. And Nick's like, I don't know if I really want to do that. You used to be my enemy. He goes, yeah, but we're businessmen now. We don't have to be friends. We just have to be partners, business partners. And he's like, well, my answer's no. And then the guy's like, give it 24 hours. Think about it. And he says it, and he shows him the whole place. And he's like, I'm going to put museum of suits here. There'll be a gift store here. He explains to him how they make money. And Nick's like, no, I don't want to do it. He's like, you're poor. You want to live, you're living hand to mouth right now. And he's like, yeah, but there's some sort of, Nick doesn't want to give up his pride and integrity to do this museum, even though he really needs the money. He'd rather forget about it. Then cut to, he goes to the bar.
Of course. That's what I do.
He meets this girl. They have a little quick exchange.
Coco.
And at the end, they have a good exchange. At the end, they're kind of flirting back and forth, and then she leaves. And the bartender, he's like, hey, did you see her much? And he's like, no. He goes, hey, tell me she didn't leave without you getting her number. And he's like,
yep, she left without
she left without my number. He goes, well,
Who does that remind me of? I don't know. I can't think of.
it's like you can't live life without taking chances or something like that. What was the last page? What did he say? Something like that. And then he decides to call up the guy. He's like, I'm in, but I'm not wearing spandex.
Right.
Now, that's what happened with the story. I think what makes this book great, I actually do love this book.
It's fun.
It's fun. The writing is, and I was looking at the writers, dialogue and everything, nothing feels fake, even though it really is kind of a out there story. Everything like feels like the dialogue actually does feel, and like when they're floating back and forth. Oh, geez, sorry. When they're flirting back and forth, a lot of times I feel like in writing and in comics or any kind of writing, any kind of those scenes when somebody's flirting back and forth, the guy has like all the perfect answers and like it's like too smooth. Where I feel like his was like a realistic smooth, if you know what I mean.
No.
It wasn't like too much where I'm like, I don't think this guy, I think this is like really good writing. Like, I don't think he actually would be like this. But in this, I thought it was actually pretty good.
Well, I like the aspect, like, you're right, because he doesn't have any power, so there's no magical thing about this book. It's like,
Not really, not
it's
this
literally, like, it could be set in our world if, like, literally he had just lost his powers.
Yeah.
So that's what's fun about it. And, you know, like, I think they, like, flip heads on the expectations, like, you know, he's, you know, like, he's not the best shape of his life, and then his former, like, high school sweetheart doesn't look like, you know, a Playboy bunny or anything. She just looks like a normal person, like a.
And they're still friends.
Yeah,
and
they're still friends.
She's like, you're dumb for not taking this job. You have no money. And
You have no food.
And she goes, promise. Yeah, she had no food. She goes, promise me you'll take the job. And he's still not sure. And he goes to the bar. And when he loses out on that chance, he's like, well, I can't lose out on another chance of doing something with my life. So he calls him up. and he's gonna be part of it now. But I really do like that art style too. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's like not very. It's a little cartoony, but it still has its own kind of look. I would say, if anything, it looks like a little bit more cartoony. The Fix. The rest of it reminds me of.
There's something that made me laugh, and I can't remember what the bad guy's name was, like Manfield or something. Clive Manfield.
He's like the Lex Luthor of this.
Kinda, but he's a smooth. He almost seems like a cottonmouth,
right?
Lex kind of mix. There's a one panel that I really enjoyed. He goes, "Really, you like living hand to mouth and shopping at the dented can store?" Made me laugh out loud because I just imagined a store with only dented cans.
Is this a miniseries?
Yes,
Yeah,
5
it's only
issues.
5
Yeah.
issues.
It's gonna be great.
I do love. Yeah, you're right. Because like I laughed. I hate saying laugh out loud. I laughed out loud though, quite a few times in this book. And I love his business manager. I think his business manager is the funniest fucker.
He reminds me of
planet.
the like drug dealer from The Fix.
Yeah, that was funny.
Just like he's incompetent, but he expects something.
He's like, "You're not my business manager."
Here
He
it
goes,
says, correct me if I'm wrong, but I provide the gigs, the transpo, I even get your weed. If that doesn't make you your business manager, I don't know what does. It's not like you have enough friends that you can afford to start losing any.
Can't be business manager and friend.
And then
Right.
he was like, "Yeah." Oh, he goes, "Yeah, you can't." Oh, yeah. What did he say next? He goes, "Yeah, you say you're my friend and business manager. They said
Which
you
is
can't be
it?
both. Yeah, which is it?" And then he just leaves. Fine, I'm neither. He just leaves.
But he chugs a beer first and he's like, did he pay for that?
Yeah. It's a really fun book. This is the kind of fun book that you can, if you like, obviously it's a new Image book. Pick it up. It's good. I give it a solid 8.
So this kind of seems like a shirtless bear fighter type of thing where I'm actually excited to be getting this book. This is actually better than shirtless bear fighter was for me, though.
Absolutely.
This has actually got some depth. It's got more of. It's not slapping in the face trying to be funny. It's subtle, funny stuff.
Right. I don't know. I think I'm going to give it a 9 though.
So
I
this is
really
a 9.
enjoyed it. I like when you can read a book and by the end you're just like, hey, that was actually really good. Like that left me feeling good when I go to the next issue.
I feel like if somebody was making a TV show about a superhero, like this seems like it would be a TV show, but it's just a comic book. Like you said, there's nothing really. They don't have powers or anything like that. It's about the life after being a superhero. I'm not sure if that guy lets his powers to the bad guy.
I didn't think he had powers.
never had
I thought he
any.
had a tech suit.
He was just very smart.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so
Rich
and he's
and
still
has
really smart. That's why he's rich now. He made his money doing technology. But yeah, like it's nothing really. If you like the superhero genre, but you want to see a different take on it, this is the book for you. It's good.
The letters page was also really good. I like how he
I
explained the
wanna read
music
that.
selection.
I want to read that. I didn't have time to read that, but I looked through it and I was like, oh, I want to read because he just
Well,
referenced all this stuff in the comic.
right.
It's nice to see him talk.
Well,
about it.
he says that like there's stereotypes. I don't know if he was making fun of Jeff Lemire, but or like other people that post playlists for their comics and whatnot. He's like, I don't want to be like that, like freaking snoot, like Stooge or whatever that just like puts out a bunch of songs and be like, well, this makes sense for this book and not explain why. So he literally takes like 5 songs and explains why they are important to the story, like why they would make sense in this time.
Yeah, the girl that he meets, she talks about blues before the Depression and how during the Depression people couldn't afford to do music anymore. So a lot of that blues music got lost. A lot of that tradition stopped and a lot of people died off. So it really didn't pick up again until post-war 60s kind of blues music. And so it was interesting to read that because I didn't know that either. I thought blues started in like Elvis kind of stole the blues and then it got prevalent and came back again. But it's nice to see that it existed pre-Depression. And actually, I was curious if you can listen. Oh, she said it's on Spotify. So I'm going to check. We'll see. The jug, what do they call it? The jug. Go to the end. Let's give them a little plug here. They need a plug from us. 1923. Go to the letters page.
I'm working on it.
It's literally the first page of the letters.
He's looking at stuff.
The Memphis Jug Band.
Yeah, what year is that? Doesn't it say there?
She says it in the story.
Oh, okay. I thought it said there. But it's good. Solid 8. You guys said 9?
30s.
Yep.
20. I don't know. Fuck it.
This is comics for this week. That's the life and adventures of Nick Wilson. Is that what it's called?
Yep. Further Adventures.
Further Adventures of Nick Wilson. Number 2. That is Punisher to the Platoon number 6 of 6. That's the end of that, baby. Department H number 23. One more left. And Cave Carson has December. Is it Cave Carson or just Cave Carson?
It's probably just Cave Carson Swamp Thing, but it doesn't really have
Cave
the title.
Carson Swamp Thing, #1.
Sorry, not to interrupt you. The Memphis Jug Band, 1928.
Justice League, #39.
Yep.
And what's your other book?
Damnation #1.
Damnation #1. Oh,
Punch Platoon #6.
Yeah, you got that.
Damnation.
I wasn't listening.
I know he got it.
I wasn't listening to when he was actually going through the books. I don't know what he missed.
SuperCon 2018, Return of the Con, September 28th, 29th, and 30th. Tickets on sale at supercon.com. Alex, we're going to be there doing a show, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to be there on the 28th doing a live show for everyone. What's it going to be called? Wednesday Comics After Dark.
And not only us are going to be there, a lot of people are going to be there. Phil Hester, right, Garrett?
Yes, Phil Hester, the current artist of Batman Beyond. He's done other projects like Shipwreck. He's done some Swamp Thing that you may or may not have seen, and some Holland Files that came out recently.
Not only Phil, Science Steve, Shay Fontana, Tony Fleece, Travis Nye, Midwest all doing a show the 28th. They'll be doing a show that night. That's the main attraction that night. Jill Thompson, Ryan Cody, John Allen, and more. Tom Wynn. Going to be at supercon.com. Make sure there's a lot going on that weekend. I would say, if I am going to tell you any kind of advice, buy that weekend pass. You won't regret it. You got MAP concert that night also. You got Wednesday Comics After Dark. And then you got a whole weekend of stuff to do, people to see. Supercon.com for more information. Well, boys, it's been, we were thinking about, the snow outside. It was coming down hard.
Are you saying, the weather outside is frightful?
Hey, I don't know that. I was about to say the next line. I totally forgot it, so I didn't say it.
Hey, Fonz is here.
Dog shit.
But I was going to say that we have the news forecaster over here, and he did not predict this kind of weather.
I told you it was going to be cold. Did not know. I'm a weatherman. Not always right.
Well, you just say every type of weather, so if it happens, I predicted that.
It's going to snow. It's going to be sunny.
There's another side to this guy. We're sort of bringing a new guy. The Pastrami news. Pastrami, what's up?
Crickets.
You're Pastrami.
God, I know. I'm Pastrami.
When he heard that sound, he was like, how do you play that record player?
It's like, where'd that needle go?
Old man Pastrami in the house. He's so old, he may be molded.
Ooh.
How's it doing? I saw you were sick.
Meat.
That sounds bad. That's definitely how you get food poisoning. Had it. Watch out for your collard greens. Probably make you sick.
Hey,
don't eat bad chicken. That's how you get salmonella. E. coli. Bad red meats. That's me. Watch out. E.
Great,
coli.
now this fucking guy's a dietitian.
Just telling you what's going on. Pretty much I'm just telling you not what to eat because you're going to get sick.
Well, Pastrami, while you were sick, some news happened.
Tell me about it. I missed out. I was in bed for a long time.
We're going to tell you about it. That's what we're going to talk about. Strap down, get your cocktail ready next to the fire. We're going to tell you some news, catch you up on the weekend news.
The gas meter goes down at about 7:30 at night.
First things first, some books canceled at DC Comics. Supergirl and Super Sons canceled. JLA, Titans, Teen Titans, Harley Quinn in doubt. We're not sure about those. Those are
whoa, Teen Titans too?
Yep, they're both next.
I thought it was going away when JL lost.
Garrett's saving all kinds of money.
That's why they're in doubt. They might be evolving to something else, but DC Supergirl absent from DC's May 28 solicits, with series writer Steve Orlando explaining that April's number 20 would be its series finale. Super Sons, it's not been canceled for bad sales. There are plans afoot I can't share at this early junction, but you will be happy with the results. Super Sons lives, Tomasi says. But hey, now remember, keep your love for the last few issues of Super Sons going. Lots of fun to be had with some emotional tugs waiting around the corner, and it shows that you continue to support the book characters as we prep the new stuff coming your way. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. I'm assuming if Teen Titans is in limbo, and we got Super Sons ending, there might be some sort of Young Justice book coming out.
Ooh. Well, I know there's that teen line. I don't know if that has anything to do with this. If that's going to be its own universe or whatnot, but I know there's a Super Sons book for that. So,
well, Scott Snyder did say JL No Justice is a mini every week of May, rolling out JLA, Teen Titans and Titans, and spinning out some new books, some new versions of existing books. Rosters of No Justice are part of the mystery of the story. No spoilers about teens spinning out afterwards. So I'm assuming they're going to be something different. So Harley Quinn is absent from DC's May 2018 solicits, but it has not been addressed if it's been canceled. So
I can't imagine they're going to be actually cutting Harley Quinn.
No.
That's too big of a book that everyone seems to love, except for Garrett.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I like Harleen Quinzel.
You guys, you get the Titans book, Teen Titans?
No, I only
neither of us get Titans. We only
anymore.
get Teen Titans.
But I might for the Justice Lost thing, depending. Whoever the creator.
So what do you think about Teen Titans, about it ending?
I'm not heartbroken because like it's been a great book, but like has anything really happened that's huge?
No.
What about Super Sons?
Yeah, I'm sad about that. Like having read that Super Sons of Tomorrow arc, winning back, and the issue we dropped off on, if we would have read it, we would have you would have stayed on it 100%.
Yeah. It was one of those things that there's no love lost for me dropping that book. It's like,
Alex, has bothered you a little bit that it's ending. You could have got the whole thing.
No.
Okay.
I'm actually satisfied with dropping that book. The only thing that even crossed my mind being like, oh, maybe I would have liked still getting it was Damage. And it's like, you know what? No. Garrett and I both agreed earlier this week. We'll drop it together and be done.
Yeah, we were.
More DC news for you guys. Joss Whedon exits the Batgirl movie. This comes from the Hollywood Reporter. Batgirl is such an exciting project, and Warner Brothers and DC such collaborative and supportive partners that it took me months to realize I really didn't have a story. Whedon said on Thursday to the Hollywood Reporter, referring to DC President Jeff Johns and Warner Brothers Pictures Group President Toby Emmerich. He added, "I'm grateful to Jeff and Toby and everyone who was so welcoming when I arrived and so understanding when I is it a sexier word for failed?" I'm not sure what he means by that. Yeah, so we'll see. It seems weird to me because I don't think that's the full story. It seems weird to me that somebody would get involved in a project and then months later be like, "Yeah, I really didn't got anything for this. I don't know why you guys hired me," and quit.
Yeah. I feel like Batgirl's one of those characters that hasn't had enough spotlight as it is, that there's plenty that could have been done.
Do you think maybe, here's the theory I'm going to throw out, that because they said Jeff was involved, that Jeff has so many ideas and knows the character so well, not really that well, but he knows the character, that Joss was like, "Yeah, I really don't know this character, I guess."
Was it? You think it's kind of like Kevin Smith and Tim Burton, where he's like, "But what if Batman did this?" And Kevin Smith's like, "That's not Batman."
It might have been, but I just don't understand somebody like Joss who came on board. He helped with Justice League. Good or bad?
Did
Who
it?
knows?
Yeah.
He did the first two Avengers movies. He helped a lot of that universe. That he would come to something that at first, if you read the initial Jeff Johns joins Batgirl, he was so excited. He was like, "Yes, I love this character, all this stuff," and he'd be like, "Yeah, I didn't really have a story." Like I feel like I like that character. I don't love that character as much as some people, as Alex does. But I think if I joined it, I'd be like, I could probably put out a story. Yeah. You know what I mean? I could find one.
He could have done literally the reboot that, like, was it?
We got the Veronica
Cameron
Mars
Stewart
version.
and Brendan Fletcher created.
Hope Larson, who is the writer of Batgirl currently, I believe, and tweeted today, was like, "Hey, DC and Warner Brothers, I have some ideas for Batgirl."
Yeah, the current writer.
Kind of being like who does? Yeah. So I wouldn't mind seeing her get on board. She knows that person, or maybe Gail Simone. Those two could collab. That's the thing I don't understand. So he was brought on board as a director and writer. If he didn't feel like he had a story to tell, why didn't he be like, "Oh, I can't write this, guys. Like, can we bring on some other people?"
Yeah.
And then he just would have directed it. If we're to believe what he said, that he was so passionate for that character and wanted to do it, just like a cop out, like something else is behind this, and we're not
He
really.
Seems like a guy that. Yeah, I mean, again, we don't know the whole story, obviously, but he doesn't seem like he does well with pressure. He seems like a guy like if you remember reading those stories about Avengers: Age of Ultron, he said there was so much pressure from the studio that he was like, "That's not really the movie I intended to make for Age of Ultron." And he was like, "I was so pooped by the time that movie was done." Like,
but this to me, Batgirl seems like less of a stressful. So right. I mean, I understand Age of Ultron. That's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of characters, a lot of people you're working with. If you're doing just a one character Batgirl, you could do a minor detective story. You could do her in college, or I mean, there's a lot of options.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of bad guys who you could bring in that aren't the Bruce bad guys. You could bring in Emperor Penguin. You could bring in the Penguin's son. You could do all these other options. You could do her brother.
Yeah, that'd be a great movie.
And so, I mean, that's James Jr., right?
Yeah. I think it's just lazy on Joss Whedon's part. There's something else.
There's something we're not being told, and that I don't want to speculate on. It's just there's something that isn't public knowledge yet.
Right.
Yeah, so was he. Well, it's another hit to that DC universe, those movies.
My big thing with the DC universe stuff is that they're trying to compete with Marvel. Just do your own stuff.
Well, that's why I think, they changed the Flash movie to the Flashpoint movie because they're obviously rebooting the shit out of that universe. Now that Jeff Johns has more input on it, I mean, I know Wonder Woman was his first one that he was helping on, but he came into that so late in the game that I feel like after this Flashpoint thing is going to be his baby to help propel that universe, but it's a little too late.
Well, that's the thing. Marvel, not to segue to something else, but Marvel had spent that 10 years building into this universe and getting you to this climactic point of Thanos is going to show up. Holy crap, I'm so excited. There's enough things that Marvel has done to make me excited. JL and DC, there's nothing going on. The only movie that I've really enjoyed has been Wonder Woman. Even Justice League itself, there was nothing in there that was like, holy God, I am so excited to see the next movie.
Nah, that movie was fun.
But as we talked in the book earlier today, I'm thinking Justice League is just not my book. It's not a team I actually get behind.
Do you know South Dakota is a DC state?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Not this guy.
Speaking of building something and not trying to jump into it, Marvel Comics announced this year they will reboot again. Oof. Or they call it a fresh start. Oh, that's what they call it, fresh start. This is the 7th fresh start in the last 5 years. And here's what the new editor-in-chief, C.B. Sobleski, said. I can say, walking through these halls, I've never been more enthusiastic and seen more enthusiasm and more excitement for where Marvel Comics is going this year. Not since Marvel Now have we had such a veer-arching, line-wide change of talent in Marvel Comics. They announced a few books so far, not a lot, but they announced a few books so far. Let me tell you what they are. We have... They have Avengers #1 from Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness. This is Thor Odinson, Steve Rogers, Tony Stark. The big three of the Avengers are united at last and just in time to save the world from total annihilation at the hands of their most powerful enemies yet, the 200,000-foot tall space gods known as Celestials. So we'll get that story from Jason Aaron. Black Panther #1, we got... Ta-Nehisi Coates and art by Daniel Acuna. We got Venom #1 from Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. And we have... there was one more. What was it? I believe I told you guys.
I can't wait to watch Captain get stepped on by that Celestial. Squish.
Just bring back that Bruce Banner Hall.
Quicksilver Mini from Eric Wynn and Salan Ahmed. I think those are the ones announced so far. The guy somebody who's doing the art for Old Man Logan, I think right now is doing that, and the writer from Black Bolt. So.
Mike Diodato Jr.
This is also some books announced from Marvel that... Well, let me talk about that first. So they're doing a fresh start, in which they've done, like I said, 7 times the last 5 years.
All new Marvel Legacy now?
All new Marvel. They're just calling Marvel Fresh Start.
I hope that's the like what Rebirth had. I hope it says fresh start.
How about Marvel We're Sorry?
What do you think? Is that it? Does it excite you to starting over again, or are you done with it?
Yes, if it's going to bring greater content, I feel like what Hickman did for Marvel. That was when Marvel Now started. Everything after that, between that and Legacy, and it's just so convoluted. And obviously was not in the best interest of the Marvel universe. Because, again, the thing that I always brought up, and, whatever. I mean, you can have characters taking up the mantles of different whatevers. But, what I mean by that is, yes, there's a lot of diversity. There's a lot of new characters that are just wearing the mantle of somebody that's already come before them. And rather than have these new people be their own heroes... They could still exist inside that universe, inside those people's universes, but why don't we get those heroes? I mean, it feels like we're in what's lower than Bronze Age, where we don't even get to see our favorite heroes anymore. But they're hoping that you're reading this book trying to see them, but you're never going to. And so that's what the reboot's about, is you're going to get those heroes that you love. I'm sure the other ones are still going to be around and have their own limelight too, but it got so diluted that you're just like, huh?
I think for me, it's hard to be excited for this when, yeah, it's great to hear you're going to be putting new teams of writers and artists on a book. How long is that going to last? I mean, all we're doing is building this big, we're going to have something really great that's going to last for 6 months, and then we're going to go, screw you guys, we're going to reboot for the 100th time.
That's what it feels like right now, is that they're just want to put some number ones out there, get more money in the mix.
Yeah,
even though every freaking report says stop making number one, stop rebooting series, it actually does more harm to the industry than it does good.
You guys brought up 2 good points. Alex, I'm with you on that. You can't reboot 7 times in the last 5 years and expect me to be excited that you're changing your path when you've been changing your path. It's like I'm in the car with you and you've been saying, oh no, I figured out the right way to go. And you've done it 7 times. I don't believe you know where you're going anymore. And what Garrett just said, what did you say? I literally just forgot by saying that point.
The original characters getting to beat their characters.
Don't do no more number ones. So they announced that they're going to do a dual numbering. So they're going to have Venom, whatever it's up to. What's it up to?
I don't know.
258.
164.
Let's say 258. I think it's 258.
No, it's in the 160s.
Oh, 164. So by the time we get there, it's going to be what, 167?
Sure.
167 will be issue number 167, also issue number 1. It's not going to say part 1. I've heard people misconstrue that. They didn't say it's going to say this storyline part 1. I'm sure it'll still say that. It's going to say in the corner issue 167 and then below it issue number 1. Dual numbering they're going to have out there, which I think is more confusing for people who are trying to pick up comics. They're going to see a 1 and 168 and I don't know what the fuck 168 means.
No.
And unless they somehow separate them on the page, it'll be like new number 1 issue. And then it says 168 legacy number. Like they'll have to literally put 168 legacy number, issue volume 1, or like volume number, or number 1 of volume, whatever it is going to be, number 4 or something like that.
There's something to be said that as Marvel is, I, as a reader of Marvel books, I don't trust Marvel anymore with what powers they have. The only thing that I feel that they are doing a good job is their movies. I don't even think Marvel trusts Marvel.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can't stick to anything. At least be solid. Stay on something for even a year and go, okay, let's give this a fair chance. You know what Rebirth did? Gave their books a fair chance to actually build into a 2-year run.
Hey, the first Rebirth book didn't get canceled until like a good 2 years in.
Yeah.
So like they gave it a chance to find an audience and it wasn't there. And like, okay, we got to cancel this book. But I mean, and even like now, like I just announced they're canceling books, but they're really, so a lot of those books are evolving to other stuff. So it's kind of naturally ending and then becoming something else. And it's not really, I don't think DC hasn't really had an event. No? They've had all these kind of crossovers.
To me, Metal is an event, but it's a self-contained event.
But it's not stopping all these books.
No, it's a self-contained event. It's doing its own thing.
Where Marvel, the last time they rebooted, they said no events for a long time, and then we got an event like right away.
Oh yeah, bullshit. They can't help themselves.
They said
I think it's a compulsion for them.
They did say this time no events for 18 months. I don't believe that either at this point.
Crossovers.
The teams look too good. Like those books look good. Those teams look good. But I'm with Alex. How long does that last? Do we get
first 3 issues? Do
we get 4 issues into that, 5 issues into that, and then you tell me, oh, we're redoing these teams? Like, obviously, they're putting Donny Cates on Venom. Donny Cates is hot right now. Venom's going to be a movie by the time those books are in high gear, so they want somebody higher profile on that, which is good. That's a good team. Right segment of Donny Cates. Jason Aaron should be on Avengers. He's earned it by now. That dude stuck around for so long and done good stuff for them. And McGinnis is going to be on Avengers. That's exciting. They're bringing back all the original Avengers. That should also be exciting. We have Black Panther. Coates has been doing a good job on that, so they're keeping him on it. They're bringing Acuna on. I love Acuna art.
I think that one I will actually give a try.
And that's what's fun is that, like, at least
it is fun, but
if they're rebooting, I have a chance to jump on instead of I have no idea where to jump on and Marvel.
See, that's a double-edged sword, though. Like, we're saying quit rebooting, but then also we're like, that's pretty cool, though. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I'll admit there's a part of it being hypocritical on our part, being I hate the fact that there is a reboot. But
it's working for them.
But if nothing else, it feels as if Marvel doesn't even trust their readers.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's, that one book didn't sell well. Let's drop it, put another new cheap-ass book out, and see how that does. Give me a year and tell me no events, And when there is an event, it's going to be this build up to what Hickman had done.
Yeah.
And make it worth my time and make it where I'm going, I am so glad I invested in this book because you guys sold me on characters. You sold me on bad guys being bad guys. You sold me on the good guys being Steve Rogers as Captain America. You brought Odin's son back into being Thor. Give me a reason to like these characters because as of right now, all I'm getting is phoned in.
I think what I need from them is not new books and new creative teams. This is my manifesto to Marvel. Here's what I need. You fix those covers. It's been long enough. I need quality of your books.
Yeah.
Quit
if you're
putting
charging us that extra buck, fucking give us a
and you can save money by doing that. And also it's going to help a lot with the idea that I can't pick up any of your books is reduce the number of titles that you have. Every character does not need their own book. And I don't care if they have some sort of like they say that they put out and they have a nice little group of readers and it's like, yeah, but then what you do is to get people to buy that book, you group in another book and all of a sudden like then I have to buy 5 books to care about one character. Yep. And I decide, guess what? I don't care about the character that much. I'll drop them all. Reduce the number of books that you have. The third thing that you need to do is promise me, like Alex said, long-term storytelling, or at the very least, non-interrupted storytelling by some event, some sort of crossover. And it's okay. Like it's okay in Avengers if you want to bring in Guardians of the Galaxy. But guess what? I don't need Guardians of the Galaxy book. I don't need to get that book to understand the story. Just put it in Avengers for a little bit. I'm not saying you have to stop doing that forever. I understand that's your business. Give me 2 good years of nothing. Let me build a foundation with these new books, these new creative teams, these new characters. Not new characters, but these new books. And let me get to a place where I'm like, okay, I could do a crossover now. Like, I really do like this book, and it really is worth my time. Rather than like what Alex did, he jumped back into Amazing Spider-Man because it was like a new jumping on point with Legacy. And then 2 issues in, it's already crossing over with 5 other books, and it's part of an event. And then you totally lose somebody because now they're like, especially if you're trying to get new readers, that is not the way to get new readers. They don't know. Let them get used to comics first before you hit them with all these events and crossovers and all the craziness of what is comic books. That's what I need. I need to see some sense that you've changed your business model. I need to see some sense that people over there are not only looking to make a quick dollar, they're looking to make good stories. And I need you to please, please, please fix those damn covers. It's been long enough.
Yeah.
If nothing else, Marvel, take a note from your movies. You've invested for 10 years into us getting to Infinity War. Do that with your books. Invest in your books. And
I think it's the opposite because they are so like, I don't understand. So I understand the fresh reboot. Somebody new came in. They're like, I got to restart this. But if it was me and I had Legacy, I would have been like, hey, I know we need to restart this, but we don't need to do some big event where we're going to put new ones out. We're just going to change our mentality behind this, guys. And I would have brought everybody into the room and been like, we're not doing any events or crossovers for a while. You guys start doing some long-term storytelling. What we're going to do is all the Spider-Man people that work on any kind of Spider-Man book, Venom, Scarlet Spider, even Spider-Gwen, you guys once a week meet together, throw some ideas around. It's be more collaborative. Like, let's get this thing together. Let's get this thing feeling like we're here to tell some stories. And guess what? Even though Marvel Legacy was an Axel Alonso thing before he left, it was his thing. And I kind of want to make my own stamp on this. I'm not going to put out Marvel Fresh Start just so I can have my name on a new kind of initiative. My initiative is going to be that I'm going to put out some good books.
Yep.
And then, like, you don't have to make it some sort of big thing to come in and be like, we're going to change what we're doing here. He could have literally put out a press release that said, hey, we're going to make this Legacy thing, like, I'm taking over, we're changing the direction. And he could have said what I just all said, and I would have been more excited for that than I am excited for this.
I would like to have heard, I'm going to embrace Legacy. I want to make this a legacy.
Yeah.
Because as of right now, I'm making it a flop, a shit fest. By wanting to restart. I'm sorry. It turned into us telling Pastrami some news. Turned into us bitching at you, Marvel.
Pretty angry.
I really am pissed.
But if we go back to that analogy I was saying, a guy in a car and the 7th time he's turning around, be like, I think I know the way actually. And you're like, I don't believe you. If he came to a point where was like, no, I actually do think this is the way and we're going to stick on this way because actually, and he'll explain to me why he thinks this is the way to go and we're really going to try it. And he had a game plan. Yeah. And I would be like, okay, I would believe him more than somebody being like, you know what, let's try this way instead. And it's like, no, like you've done it enough. And I don't believe you at this point. And I really do need you to, like Garrett said, if you're really going to charge that much per book and sometimes $5 like for Damnation today. I don't even think it was any bigger. If you're really going to start charging $5 for books, I really do need to see an improvement. Like when DC puts out their bigger books, like that. There's no way Marvel's putting out any kind of book of this quality. I'm pulling up Swamp Thing Winter Special,
Prestige format.
This prestige format, and like this 80-page giant to be like, hey, we're going to celebrate Swamp Thing and then give him its own special. That never would happen.
No,
not in this Marvel day and age. There used to be a time when that wasn't Marvel, and let me know that you're going back to that kind of company, and I'll jump on your books. I don't need you to make it all flashy with some sort of big name, some new number ones, and like you're like, oh, we're changing. Well, show me, and then I'll.
I need action, not words anymore. So,
no, that was one piece of the news. I knew that was going to get us going. Oh, by the way, Iron Fist, all new Wolverine, and Black Bolt are presumed canceled. They're not on the solicits for that new initiative.
What was that third one?
Black Bolt.
Oh, Black Bolt.
And Thanos is not on that solicit, but I would expect Thanos is still going on. That's a popular book. I mean, if that gets canceled, I'm riding it.
But I don't know. I feel like Donny Cates going to Venom though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I think that Thanos though it's found a good stride, and that book is it's good.
Maybe it's going to be a mini.
But I feel like with Legacy, basically Legacy's over.
Yeah.
When this reboot happens.
Maybe it was supposed to be an ongoing, but now Donny Cates like Garrus is going to Venom. They're making it a mini series and they'll end with the first arc. So. Yeah. Well, it's be good.
If it ends, that's fine. I guess that's
guys.
It is what it is.
Something I am excited for. In 2010, Marvel told me that Jonathan Hickman was writing S.H.I.E.L.D. at that point, and had 2 more issues to go. I do have them. I have 1 through 4. It was a 6-issue mini. They never came out. 2018. They're on that solicit for May. We'll see if they come out.
I was going to message you that, but I'm like,
I've been waiting 8 years for these babies. Hopefully they show up.
The last 2 issues?
The last 2 issues of this, because there's a volume 1, volume 2, and we're on volume 2, and the Hickman way, this shit gets delayed. 2018, they told me they're coming out, and then they would also be delayed, and then they would show up on solicits every once in a while, and Hickman would be like, yeah, they're coming out, and then they would never come out. But he said for sure, I've sent the scripts off, the scripts are done. Dustin Weaver, who's the artist, said, I've done the art. We all send it to Marvel. So it's all up to Marvel to put them out. And Marvel for a while said, yeah, we're holding them. We are going to put them out, but we're waiting for something. When we never knew what we were waiting for. For a while, we thought we were waiting for the end of Secret Wars because that had to do with that. That never happened. But now they're on the solicits for May. So we'll see. They've been on there before, so I'm not, until those books are in my hand.
Infinity.
I don't believe it. So
yeah, that's bullshit. Shouldn't have to wait 8 years for freaking 2 issues.
Yeah. Well, that's what you get. Well, that's the pastrami. That's what you missed out on this week.
I tell you what, some of those things were interesting. Some of those were infuriating. But it's good. That's why you guys tell me these things, so I can be caught up.
May's
I only get the newspaper, and the newspaper doesn't tell me all these comic book related things.
May's going to be a different kind of comic universe coming up here, so.
There's some new image books that were announced, but we're running out of time tonight, so we'll talk about that some other time.
The image books we're all going to get anyway.
Yeah. And also 3/4 of those image books were never come out. I'm pretty sure last year in the show we announced a bunch of image books, and I probably haven't seen any of them come out.
That was did Hickman? Yeah, that one's
Frontier.
not coming out yet. Never. If it took 8 years to come out with 2 issues of a miniseries that no one gives a shit about anymore, then yeah.
Hey, I would rather him never put out a book because he's not happy with it than get a book that comes out and it's crap. So
true.
You can't fix something that's bad.
Do you even remember what happened to those first 4 issues?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll read it.
8 years ago, Marvin can't remember what he had for lunch today.
I don't even know where they are. I would have to I'm pretty sure they're in my deep. I filed them away a long time ago, thinking that thing was never going to come out. So
yeah.
Phantom Zone.
Wednesday Comics 605 at gmail.com. Email us what do you think of this Marvel initiative. Are you getting any of these books? And that's the thing too. Also, I just wanted to reiterate because I hear a lot of people being like, "Oh, you guys hate Marvel." It's not that. I care so much. Please let me love you. That's what it is. At Wednesday Comics on Twitter, at Alex Pastrello, also at Pastrami News. Let him know any other news that he missed when he was in his coma. At Karat2188, at Marvin_Saguero. Let us know what you're picking up this week, what you're excited for. I'm always curious to see what people are getting. Let me know.
I want mine to be that hashtag Marvel Let Me Love You.
Marvel Let Me Love You. Hey, that's good. Yeah, let's do it. Facebook.com/Wednesday Comics Podcast. That's the Facebook.
Jesus. Whoa.
Too bad we're not doing the video anymore.
Yeah, wow. That would have been funny. Facebook.com/Wednesday Comics Forecast. Sorry for your ears also if you got blown out there. Oh, I might put on my glasses. That's why I can't see that. I'm like, oh, God, it's so dark in here. No, it's my glasses are on. Find us on YouTube at I aforementioned YouTube page at the beginning of the show. You can see this guy on the Gauntlet. These two, and you can see Garrett on Catching Up with Garrett. Alex, when's your show coming? I'll tell you what. When's that coming?
I'll tell you what. Should be coming out soon.
Okay. Voicemail 605.
When that secret issue comes out, or a Shield issue comes out.
605-215-1849. Hey, Alex, we got a book club, right?
Wednesday Comics proudly presents The League of Extraordinary Gentle People.
We are reading.
I screwed that up again.
You're a fucker.
Wednesday Comics League of Extraordinary Gentle People proudly presents
Day Tripper.
I still got to read that, don't I?
Yeah, still got to read that. Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba. 10 issues. Garrett's going to be reading it. Maybe get your Kleenexes. Could not for gross reasons. Wipe those tears. It's a good book. Hop on it.
You can find that on Hoopla. If you don't want to spend any money, go to your local library, get involved in Hoopla. You can find it on Digital Comixology if you want to get something digital, if you want to purchase it. Or you can purchase the trades out. It's not that expensive, I don't think. So you can get that too.
I think it's less than $15.
Hey, but actually you reminded me of something, Alex.
Nice.
Something, but it's nothing that we have any involvement in, but it's good for a good cause, and I assume people would be into it. So I was going to mention. Oh, by the way, they also announced. We'll talk about that maybe free talk next week. New DC Hanna-Barbera crossovers. Looks pretty good. Well, anyways, go to humblebundle.com. They have a new Humble Bundle where you can get a bunch of Image comics, a lot of good stuff on there, actually. I was looking at it. Probably going to get it. I'll probably get it. But for $20, you can get a lot of books, and it supports a good cause. It goes to the ACLU and also the comic book. Oh, here it is. Let me look it up here. I forget. I want to actually plug this thing.
I want to know what's in this thing before I go, I want that Humble Bumble.
Sounds like my mom telling a story. What's the
Humane Society of the United States? It supports. Alex, I know you're good with that.
Animals.
And the Human Rights Campaign Foundation. Sorry, it wasn't the ACLU. Here's what you get for, and you can. There's different tiers, but I would just pay $20. Here's some things you get: Chew Volume 1, Shutter Volume 1, The Fix Volume 1, Angelic Volume 1, Curse Words Volume 1, Port of Earth Number 1, Maestros. Okay, so that's some stuff you get with the first package. If you pay $10, you get Descender number 1. Hey, should catch up with that. Odyssey number 1, Bitch Planet number 1, Descender number 2, East to West.
These
number
are all
1.
trades.
These are all trades. Crosswinds number 1, Monstrous Volume 1, Paper Girls, Nailbiter Volume 1, Spawn Origins Collection Volume 1. You pay $15, you get Saga Book 1. That's the bigger book. That's like 30 issues, right?
Yeah.
You get Wicked and Divine Book 1, Southern Bastards Volume 1, Bitch Planet Volume 2, Gasolina number 1, Manhunt Projects Volume 2. Outcast Volume 1, let's see, Spawn Origins Volume 2 and 3. If you want to pay $20, you get the Big Heart Sex Criminals Book 1, God Country, Bitch Planet Triple Feature Volume 1, I Kill Giants, Manhattan Projects Volume 3, Royal City Volume 1, Rednecks Volume 1, Shirtless Bear Fighter, Spawn Origins Volume 4, and Outcast Volume 2. So, it's a lot of stuff. So
For $30?
$20.
$20 and you get those many trades.
Yeah, they're all digital though, so you don't actually get a physical copy. But still, it's a lot of content for $20, and it all goes to charity. So
yeah,
it all goes to support the Humane Society of America and the Human Rights Campaign. So help out some humans, help out some animals. 4 legs. SuperCon 2018, Return of the Con. That's December 28th, 29th, and 30th. We'll be there on the 28th doing our little show. We'll be. We don't know what it's going to be yet, but we're going to be there. Also, March 10th is the Super Day Con that's going to be at the Western Mall in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Go there. It's free. Go there, stop by, see some people, do some things. I'm not sure exactly if anybody's really announced for that. Comic Genie is. Go ahead and see him. He'll draw you something there. See his artwork, comicgenie.com. And there's some other ones. Go to supercon.com. There's more information there about the Daycon. Go to their Facebook page, and also there's some information about the Daycon there. So go there, get a little taste, and then go to supercon.com, get your weekend pass, $30. Recommend it. Don't get that day pass, because the day you get the Friday, because you're going to be like, hey, do we go on Friday and see Wednesday comics? Obviously, yes. But you're like, hey, but I want to go there on Sunday and play some games. Well, there's another $10. Might as well throw in another $10 to get the weekend pass. You go there on Saturday. A lot of stuff going on that Saturday, and you want to mingle. I'm sure we'll be around.
So
I'll say,
we'll be
hey,
there.
I'll give you a salute, and I'll give you a fist pound.
Your favorite won't be there on that Saturday, but
No, Alex will be there. Don't worry.
RootsOfSwampThing.com. Go there. You can learn more about the Avatar of the Green. If you're reading this Cave Carson and Swamp Thing book, and you're like, I want to learn more about the Swamp Thing, go to that page. You can see rootsofswampthing.com. Go to that page, and you can see more about the Alec Holland. Holland Files #2 came out, but if you missed out on your copy, make sure you subscribe to him on Twitter, DC World Swampy, or on Facebook at facebook.com/rootsofswampthing, so you know when the next volume comes out, and you can always get those little snippets. Like recently, he reviewed the Young Monsters in Love and the Winter Special, which we talked about 2 weeks ago when he was on the show. So make sure you go on there. I'm sure he'll talk about Cave Carson and Swamp Thing. So good show, guys. Is that all on that thing?
Why didn't you lift that up the whole fucking time?
Subscribe.
Oh yeah, make sure you subscribe to the show. How do I always forget the one thing I should talk about on the show? Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, or on Spotify. Spotify, you can just follow the show. It's not really subscribing, but it's the same thing. It'll let you know when there's a new show out, and you can stream it. Or you can download it. Either one, I don't care. But on iTunes, Google Play, and those two will auto-download them when I push them out. Stitcher Radio, I think you still got to go to the page. I don't know how it works. Just know it's out there. Hey, by the way, actually... there's actually more. So if all those 4 you don't use, but you use other stuff. Sergeant America did a video recently where he told his computer to play Wednesday Comics, and then Wednesday Comics, the computer said, playing Wednesday Comics on TuneIn Radio. I didn't realize we're on TuneIn Radio. I guess we're on that podcast. Where I don't know what it is. It's like a radio station type thing. I guess we're on there too. So this thing's spreading fast. Get on board the train. I'm your conductor, Marvin. Adios.
Okay. I don't. What else is on a train? I want to be on this train.
You're the shoveler.
Or you saying adios too?
Everybody
in the show.
I'm your cool shoveler, Alex.
I'm just your normal fucking dude, Garrett.
Hey, everyone. Keep turning those pages.